Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 139, Down with the Affliction. We're here to talk about all. Did you not see the title earlier?
I didn't. I'm enjoying this back to my childhood. Yes.
I hope everybody's doing well today. We're here to talk all things Warhammer. We probably have stats coming. We gave Jeremy a bit of a delay by stalling for 5 minutes at the start of the show so that we can make sure we have everything ready to go and tell you all the very interesting data coming out of the last. We were talking about this pre-show. 11 events last weekend. A small weekend in data. One of the biggest event weekends ever of 8th and 7th and 8th edition. Tiny weekend for 10th. It's a really great sign of things to come, and hopefully the game will keep growing. But as always, I am Innes. I am joined by Nathan and Anthony. We are here to talk about Warhammer. I was at a tournament I took last week off. Anthony's been just in the WTC trench mines. Nathan's been playing Space Wolves alongside me. We got lots of things to talk about. I've been playing a ton of Wolves. I played a tournament. Anthony's been playing literally everything, I assume, just in the mines. So yeah, that's what we're here to bring you. We've also got all the usual prevarications. We are expecting a new chapter proved this weekend, so we'll have got a bit of having played some games of it now to talk about. And obviously we're still waiting for the balance update to kind of seal the door on whatever that is, but we've got some initial hot takes. How many differential points I've had stolen off me by challenger cards already, all that good stuff. Anthony's soul dead looking to the camera.
It is what it is, man.
Anthony, how you been, man? How's your last week or so?
I've been all right. We got some, steps taken towards like who's playing what, which is cool. I've been in just, as you described, the fucking trenches for trying to do things. So I just like went and had a look at like the Excel sheet that I like missed some games on and definitely need to put in there. So I think I've played since like April. I think the sheet started tracking in like May 1. And I have 22 practice games on there, and those are just like the TTS games that are like relevant practice games, not like all the coaching and all the other things. So it's been it's busy. So that's been fun. No, Chris, I'm not having fun yet.
That's what you guys are gonna learn. Even you, Chris. WTC is not fun. WTC is work.
Yeah, yeah, this is definitely the least fun I've had with World Eaters in a hot minute. So that's been part of the experience. Been playing Emperor's Children, been playing CSM, been playing World Eaters. Shit, I tried Orcs for a minute. Just cycling stuff that runs at people, right? Just trying to do as many
Anthony
of the
knows
things
his
as
competitive
possible.
advantage. You know where your bread is buttered. Anthony knows where his bread is buttered. He runs at people real hard. He's about to run at that poor guy downstairs. Just dropping off his delivery. That guy's getting murked. Nathan, how you been doing?
I've been doing great. Like I'm really putting the fun in fun employment right now. I've been.
God, what is it with this show, guys?
I think the thing about it is, so I have to say something is that I have moved from thing to thing to thing for like the last 12 or 13 years. So like I went from work to undergrad to grad school to postdoc to company, and never took a break between any of those things. And so this is the first time I have not needed to do anything for like a week solid. And so it's been a very strange but very fulfilling experience so far, which has been kind of nice.
How many games of Warhammer have you played?
I've played so many games of 40K.
Nathan, why have you not had me up for a game, man? What are we doing? Come on.
We can play if you want. I feel weird hitting up people who are so much better than me and being like, do you want to play a game against my really raggedy bear skills? Like, they're bad. My skills are not good. But we can play.
We've done it like an hour. It'll barely count.
It's true. We could play 3 games in this. I've been playing some Knights, some Thousand Suns, and some Space Wolf stuff, and kind of rotating through them at people. Just kind of having a good time. Friend of the show.
What's been the most fun of those?
I have to say it's been Space Wolves, just because of the sheer like psychological abuse some people take when a Predator Annihilator with rapid fire kills something. And when you put Mercy as weakness on it, and all of a sudden you're hitting with 4 hunter killer missiles at the same time, it's very funny. It's definitely a vibe. Thousand Suns has been interesting because TJ Lanigan of Thousand Suns fame was like, Nathan, you'd love this army. It's like Eldar, but not, and better than Eldar. And I was like, okay. So he sends me a list, and I've been playing it. And the first game I played with it, I'm like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing anymore. And the second game I played with it went a lot better, and I've been enjoying 18 bows floating around the table.
With Lone Operative?
Character that look, yeah, with 18-inch Lone Op, just killing anything that looks at them funny.
You remember we used to say Lord Up was the only was like holding this game together with like sticks and glue, like Lone Up and Ingress?
Yep.
I don't feel that way anymore.
No, I mean, imagine not having it everywhere else. It's stupid that units that shoot really good can have it also, but like, I wouldn't want it removed, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say though that Space Wolves have been like the more, I think, fun army also just to play because some of their new units are really punchy. It was very funny dangling Murderfang in front of somebody and watching them just barely kill him, and then getting yeeted into the sun by like another melee unit right behind him. I don't know.
My Bjorn dies to like stiff breezes. I don't know what you're living on, where like things live, but
I don't know. I mean, I hide Bjorn like all the way at the back. Bjorn is hiding behind a ruin because he needs to give me extra CP every turn, or I can't do any stratagems anymore. Like, Mercy as weakness is real expensive.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, that's our fault, buddy. It didn't have to be this way.
I think it did, actually.
It did need to be this way. I can only imagine what this army would be like with 1 CP Mercy as weakness.
Dude, it was
like,
it was real bad.
And like, the Iron Priests are funny in that they are good, but they also are like, they need to be stapled to chassis that are so much faster than they are. Like the Predator Annihilator is like, I want to go 10 inches because I want this firing lane, and the Iron Priest
You only have
is
to
like,
roll a 3 on your advance for that.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out.
They're Russ's sprintiest foot soldiers. They do not get to fire that pistol.
I did make one of my Chicago locals very sad on TTS when he open fired with Noise Marines on a scout squad and on an impulsor and killed neither of them. There was one solitary scout left and the impulsor on 2 wounds, and then he failed his pledge for the turn. And
oh god, you're not? Are you doing the eliminator impulsor thing?
Lucius, no. Ragnar and 6 head takers were in that impulsor.
It's so much less funny than it's 6 eliminators with last fusils.
That doesn't work anymore.
Well, they can fire from.
Yeah, but they can't get out.
But they get the rapid fire from the Iron Priest.
Oh.
Yeah, they all get rapid fire. So suddenly that unit is so much more efficient when you have 6 rapid fire 1 las cannons. There are moments in this game that I find really funny, like when a Predator Annihilator with Mercy.
That was one of them. That was one of the moments.
That was one of them. The other one was watching a Predator Annihilator with Mercy as weakness, firing 2 Hunter Killer missiles, getting 4 hits, and killing 4 Blood Crushers with Hunter Killer missiles. It's fine.
That actually does sound about average, yeah.
It is.
They're only 5 available now. Like they die like a stiff.
Well, that was before the las cannons fired as well. So like the las cannons went after that.
You still had your 6 las cannon shots to go.
It still had my 6 las cannon shots. It is still not as good, I think, as Ultramarines Ironstorm is, because that list is far more CP efficient and has multiple really good melee and durability units. Like
Calgar's better than everything a while the Space Wolves Ironstorm does. Yeah. It's just like not close.
and Gilliman is so much better of like a melee counter threat than even Ragnar.
Ragnar and a squad of head takers. The strength 5 and 6 gang.
Whoa, don't be rude. But I've been having a really good time with 40K. I have been packing up all my stuff so that I can ship it all back to Chicago so that I can start painting it when I move back to Chicago on the 10th.
Hell yeah.
Basically, dude. I go to Ottawa on Friday. I help.
So we're not gonna have Nathan a week today, is what you're telling me.
I'll be on Tuesday. It'll be fine. It'll be
fine. You move on the 10th, and today's the 10th. Minus a week. Yeah.
Yeah. It might be okay. We'll find out. We'll see how things go.
I don't think that's a thing that's going to happen, but not. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to Ottawa for a Teams event this weekend. It'll be great. And yes, PBE Gen, that is a Saturn 4 Ultra that I also have to send back to Chicago this weekend. Yeah, so that's how everything's going. I'm having a lot of fun playing 40K for the first time in a long time, which is great because I get to actually play a lot of it, which is fun. How about you, Ennis? How are you doing?
Yeah, obviously, I was at the German Super Major last week. I'll talk about that once we're through the data segment into the sort of main bit of the show. But I managed to go 5-0 at the German Super Major with Gladius Ultramarines. Finished 4th in the Swiss, and then dropped to 9th because I didn't stay for Top Cut. So we'll talk a bit about that as we go on. But I've also been playing a ton of Space Wolves, and I want to also talk about Space Wolves because I've been playing the melee stuff, and I am really enjoying 3-man Thunderwolves and 5-man Wolfen, and I'm not enjoying 6s and 10s. But I like the idea of just having these small units in Stormlands that just murder things for the same price as JPI, and that's been great fun. I've been playing just a ton of Stormlands with the like 2 or 3 squads of 3 Thunderwolves, maybe 1 6-man, and then like 10-5-5 Wolfen and guns and head takers, and just running at people and just feel like you solve this problem. And it's nice to be able to just kill things with Space Marines in combat without needing oath on everything, because everything reroll ones anyway. Because there's Wolfguard battle leaders and all the head taker squads, and all the Wolfen have reroll ones naturally. So you're just like, go forth and don't need oath. I know I've tried a little bit in Beast Slayer as well. Getting the lethal hits on Ballistic Dreadnoughts is kind of funny. You're just like, yeah, I'm playing guard. It's cool, but I like Stormlands. I like advancing charging people. It's just way more enjoyable.
Honestly, Stormlands is what I want to try next with it because the Thunderwolf Cavalry are still fine. They're like really good little skirmish units still.
The flat 9 button on them is very funny. When the unit's like 100 points and it just goes 21 in charges on turn 1, you're just like, you solve that problem over there now, while the rest of my army stages into all of these buildings is great fun, and I've been having a good time with that.
Yeah.
And it is 12, 5, 2, 3 attacks in melee. So it's not like they're not going to kill something when they hit it.
They still
something probably
definitely kill things.
Yeah.
They absolutely rip. And then you're just like, you're fighting on like some stupid shitty little flank. Your opponent puts like not quite enough. You're like -1 to hit and wound. They're still there next turn. Oh, it's beautiful. I really enjoy that. I wish they could have leaders so I could rapid ingress a squad of 6 on turn 1. But I understand that's why they don't get leaders.
Correct. Yeah.
They saw Wolf Jill and they were like, you know what, guys, you can't have this until 11th edition.
Oh, you still 100% cat. It's 600 points for 18 Thunderwolves now, bro. You can 100% just be like, here is 20 assholes. You figure it out. And it's not even that bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, David Gaylord's in chat saying you can advance a charge in Gladius. You can, but I can't flat 9 advance in Gladius.
I can't move 21 inches in Gladius.
Exactly. I also can't flat 6 advance Bjorn. And that's really funny too.
What? You can. Oh.
There's a vehicle. Do you have to be a flying vehicle for that?
I
never used
Bjorn
this. I never used this
fly.
Bjorn.
I don't know,
but you can do it. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Yeah.
I thought I thought it was non-vehicle got 9. But let me actually read the strat.
Who knows, dude?
Excluding walkers. Yeah. Okay. So don't do that on Bjorn. You would be cheating. I'm glad we talk about these things on the show.
See? Get them out of the way, dude.
Yeah, exactly. The book's not even out yet. Like, how could you? Stormlands has been around for 2 years. Don't worry about that. You can flat 6 Logan though, and that's funny.
Can you?
No, he's not. It's infantry. It's not infantry. It's vehicle and mounted. It's literally
he
just.
Looks like he should be mounted because he's got giant ass
wolves. Why is he on an 8 base? Can we talk about that?
Because the wolves are big, dude.
It's a big Vectora. The wolves help with the Vectora.
Yeah.
He is 3 models technically on 1 base.
Exactly, and that's why he has 16 AP2 attacks in combat.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Logan in a unit. Logan is a lone operative that doesn't have the keyword. Thank you, David. Logan stands in the middle of my army and says, "Fuck your stratagems. Fuck your Overwatch." We don't give him friends. He doesn't need friends. He's got tools.
Those are his friends. Yes,
exactly. Him plus 5 Terminators is probably pretty good. Once they, at some point, I assume they will, errata you to be able to like put some form of leaders into Terminators, because otherwise Champions of Fenris just like doesn't work as a detachment. Once they do that, I do want to play 30 with Old Heroic. I don't think it'll even be good. I just want to.
Yeah.
I just want
Just
to
wanna
see the
be
look on
able to
like
do it.
the first person that's like, I'm gonna move block you's face, and like, so this one heroic 6, the rest heroic 3. I'm just like, no, you're not gonna do that. I'm gonna move through the gaps. Thank you. It won't be good. It won't be good at all. But the day they say that I will try it once.
Just once.
I know. I
just
just want
once.
to play as.
It won't
I just wanna
survive
play
the game.
Arjack a few times. Doesn't matter. No. I just want to play Arjack still. I don't
Arjack
care.
is
I
your
just wanted to
warlord with
throw
the
a
+3
hammer at people
attacks.
and kill them. Yeah. Why not? It's fine.
That's a rule that's gonna get used.
Yeah, we're gonna play twists. I think I'm gonna when we do the commissions for
We're gonna play
WGC, I'm gonna recommend that there's a twist for round 7, and it's
Yeah.
the warlord gets +3 attacks one.
Yeah, it's good.
None of the other ones. Just round 7 has the twist. I think what
Yeah.
you should actually do, if you ever have to play a tiebreaker round at a tournament, you should random a twist. Like if the Art of War coin
You
flip
should just
happens
add
again,
a twist.
right? You have to play a tiebreak game.
Instead of
There's a random.
instead of rock paper scissors or like roll a die roll off, you have to draw a twist randomly for the last 2 turns of the game to see if you can break that tie.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have to play it, if
See
you
what
do the
happens.
GW tiebreaker, which is you play a turn 6, you flip a twist for turn 6 only.
Yeah.
You just flip over night fighting, like, oh god damn it.
I guess we're not interacting with each other anymore.
Yeah, night fell mid turn. Sorry guys. All right. Do we have the stats, Nathan?
I've got stats. We have vamped long enough for me to have
Go
stats
for the
loaded up.
stats. God, we're so good at this.
All right, stats time. All right, so this is just last week's stats. If you wanted to hear a little bit more stats, you can listen to the show from last week where we tier listed everything according to our random tier list rule that it is developed. Jeremy and I did that, but this is just this week's data. It's not that many events. It's 1,510 games, so it's not like a lot of games either, relatively speaking. At the number 1 spot would be Deathwatch, but they only had 4 players, so I'm not going to count them. Although they did have a 66.7% win rate, so good job to those 4 people. Eldari are the number 1 faction based on win rate. They had a 63.8% win rate, while they had 21 players making up 6.5% of the meta. They had 5 top 4s and 10 top 10s for a 2.15 overrep. And then Death Guard are in second place only by win rate. They had 29 players, 8.9% of the meta. That is a lot.
A lot.
That's
folks.
a lot of that's a lot of stinky boys.
That is the most single codex. That is the most represented single codex army this week.
That's 8.9
Were they
times 3
60?
Death Shroud.
Yeah, 63.2% win rate, 3 event wins, 7 top 4s, 14 top 10s for a 2.18 overrep.
That's
might-
too big.
That maybe might just be a problem, just possibly. In third place is Imperial Knights with 13 players, 4% of the meta. A 62.7% win rate for Imperial Knights. No event wins, no top 4 placements, 3 top 10s, so they have a 0 for overrep. In fourth place is Tyranids with 16 players, 4.9% of the meta. 62.5% win rate.
Who?
1 event win, 4
Tyranids?
top 4s, Tyranids.
I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I think you're lying to me. I think you're lying for clout on the
Dude,
internet.
Tyranids
I might
pretty
be.
good.
No, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you.
They have a 2.26 for overrep. And then in fifth place is World Eaters. 14 players, 4.3% of the meta. A 60% win rate. 1 event win, 3 top 4s, 5 top 10s for 1.93 overrep. So,
Nice.
it's fine. On the other end of things, neither Adeptus Mechanicus nor Imperial Agents had any players this weekend. That is okay for Imperial Agents and really, really sad for an actual army, which is Adeptus Mechanicus.
Whoa, Imperial Agents and AdMech are equally armies.
I actually think that might be true at this point.
Why would it be
That's-
untrue?
yeah.
They're both armies. They have a codex. There's models. What's the problem?
Imperial Agents have more recent model releases.
This is true. And then Black Templars, Thousand Suns, and Leagues of Vatan would otherwise make up the bottom 3, but they had 3, 2, and 6 players respectively, and a 12.5, 33.3, and a 36% win rate.
So maybe
Man,
don't take too
Are
much away
Votan
from
players really bored of Votan or something?
Maybe just, like, don't take too much away from these little
6
itty bitty baby
players?
population players.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
And
they
then
did just win
Hordes-
BAO, right? For Votan?
Leagues of
What's
Vatan didn't have a top 10.
An event.
So they had a top 10, and that's it. I don't have an event win for them for this last weekend. Orcs are the first faction with over 10 players once I scroll up to like 5th or 6th from the bottom. They had 17 players, 5.2% of the meta, and a 36.4% win rate with no placements of any kind.
That's pretty grim.
Gene Stealer Colts only had 5 players, so we'll skip them.
Good. That's where we want to be. Off the radar. Not under the radar, off it.
The real factions and that would round out the bottom 5 are Tau, who had 10 players and a 42.6, Astra Militarum with 22 players and a 43, and then Chaos Space Marines, who had 9 players, so I'm just going to call it in, and they had a 43.9% win rate with an event win, 2 top 4s, and 2 top 10s for a 2 overrep. And then Chaos Demons actually rounding it out with 16 players, 4.9% of the meta, 45.2% win rate, 2 top 4s, 3 top 10s, and a 1.13. Other event winners are Space Marines, who had a 46.5% win rate. Blood Angels, specifically, who had a 52.1. And then they had 2 top 4s and 2 top 10s for 1.13. Chaos Knights won an event with a 56.7% win rate. And then that is it. Necrons are still there based on win rate, just outside the top 5 with a 60.2% win rate and 6 top 10s, but no top 4s or event wins to speak of.
Necrons outside the top 5, just about. It's about the furthest they've ever gotten from it. So
it's true. If we pull out the
sixth time for buffs.
Yeah, sick. Time for buffs this week for a faction that has been good the entirety of the time. If I break down the Death Guard data, the highest win rate detachment in there is at a 66.7, but only has 1 player. But they have 29 players. Champions of Contagion has 29 players and a 61.9% win rate so far since release. And Mortarian's Hammer has 37 players and a 58.1% win rate. Virulent Victorium is the most represented with 91 players since Codex release with a 58.2% win rate. That's good. Death Guard are good. I don't know how else to put it.
That does sound true. If you want to hear even more about Death Guard being good, you could check out the bonus content that we put out today with Alice Braithwaite talking about Mortarian's Hammer and why that's a really cool thing you can do. You can check that at youtube.com/statcheck and just go into the videos tab. There you go. Seamless.
Seamless. That's stats. We'll look at doing a bigger summary once we
have. So, Anthony, how do you feel about World Eaters being in 5th?
Fine. I think into like regular folks, they're fine, right? The problem is when you play against like really highly talented competition that they fall off.
I wonder what that looks like in terms of pure v pure. I don't know if we have enough data for that yet.
I mean, all 2 games of it, I'm sure, is going to be crushing, but
World Eaters are sitting at, from the data we have, a 44% win rate among upper quartile and 50% above bottom quartile. They're sitting exactly on the line between mid-table menace and struggling, according to our data.
If I
Damn, Anthony guy knows his stuff.
For the last 3 weeks, Death Guard have 8 event wins, 25 top 4s, 50 top 10s for a 1.99, which is
a lot.
That's more than any other faction by a significant margin.
I mean,
and a 59.3% win rate while maintaining an 8.4% meta representation, and they have 200 players.
An easier to play gunline or combined arms army that's really straightforward in how it executes and evaporates.
That also has combat.
Close to it is just like
the only thing keeping Death Guard's win rate down is the access to 3 bullet drones.
Yeah, I mean, like even then, like the broad stroke like holes across the faction are so cheap that you can kind of do whatever. Like it doesn't super matter, right? Like those are the best ones, but like depending on what meta you're in, they might not even be the best ones, right? Like a lot of the times the
only faction that's close to them is Eldari.
That's because Yunari's stupid.
Yeah, I mean they have 5 event wins, 22 top 4s, and 38 top 10s for a 2.2.
Devoid of Uniad sitting at specifically for its win rate.
Let me pull it up.
I'm looking at this patch metagame.
Yeah, it's going to have... I'll just have it updated.
It's pretty goddamn high.
It is 64.5.
There you go. So,
including
I feel like Yunari might be a problem still. And if you can't be balanced, you have to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for Eldari specifically, the next up behind them is Aspect Host, which has a 45.7.
The next one is 17% win rate lower.
Well, Seer Council only had 13 players and has a 60% win rate, but I don't know if that's an
all
artifact
3 of them are
people
having the
playing or
best
not.
time. Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, the next closest by player count is Aspect Host with a 45.7. So a nearly 20% difference in win rate between.
Dude,
Devoted
you
and
just
Aspect
drop an
Host.
entire game at a 5-round tournament by switching your detachment.
Yep, it's true.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of the problem that I would wager is that we got a bunch of books that broke the tempo of 10th a little bit, where a lot of the edition, we've had a lot of like side grade books, and these are not that in the case of Sons and Death Guard, right?
Sons, Death Guard, Eldar, right? The last, and Emperor's Children, I suppose,
Yep.
as the last
Sure.
4. It's basically just World Eaters has been about where it was.
They got
It's still pretty solid. It's not blowing the doors off.
It's a bit worse, but that's okay.
Sure. It's still pretty solid though, right? Like, it's not a bad book.
It's fine. I'm happy to call it a mild side grade.
Sure.
As long as you're not playing against the best players in the world. But the rest of them are all upgrades, right? And they're upgrades that hit at a time that, those of you that played in 9th should remember the Siren Song of Doom, which is the codexes that release right before a slate, and thus we don't have the data to resolve.
Yeah, it was much easier when they just weren't releasing codexes.
Honest to God, yeah, it was. I mean, that's the argument for releasing them very quickly so that we can move on with our lives and balance them, or, maybe putting the event that's really important to a whole bunch of nations right before the balance that happens on after. Anyway, so yeah, I think this is going to continue to be an issue, where, assuming the rest of the books kind of match the flow, right? Like, if the rest of the books going forwards are all...
Maybe Mordaka was fine. We were just 3 months early.
No, it wasn't. Even then. Daka would take Emperor's Children between its legs and use it to dunk on Death Guard. Like, that's not even vaguely a thing.
I'm just trying to make shorts. Like,
yeah. I don't think that, like, in basically any universe...
We've all seen Death Guard. We've all seen Emperor's Children. We've all seen Yunari. What of T-Sons has got you worried? Just watching it annihilate people?
What it's doing. The fact that it got better and cheaper seems bad. Just like as a general note. Like, as a rule of thumb, in 40K, when stuff gets better, it should probably get more expensive. It probably shouldn't, in general, get better, easier to use, and less expensive. That seems like a mild error.
Goats maybe shouldn't be AE for 6, or
Goats maybe shouldn't be AP2 ignore cover.
That too, yeah, that would definitely. And I mean, really, they're not AP2; they're like AP4.
Ignore cover, lethal, rerolling hits.
Precision.
I guess.
Just keep adding keywords on.
Did you want a rule? They probably got it. Precision too.
Yeah.
The counter for the ACDC meta we never needed. We never knew we needed.
Yeah, we never got. And it came.
Somebody
all the
did
same.
ask a question about World Eaters detachments, and I'll just run through it real quick, and then we can return to Thousand Suns abuses of our lives. Berserker Warband is the most popular with 58 players and a 48.3. Khorne Demonkin is actually the second most popular detachment with 28 and a 47.7. And then it's Goretrack with 8 and a 50% win rate. And then Possessed, Slaughterband, and Vessels of Wrath at a 0% win rate and a 40% win rate, but 1 player each. So there you go.
0% win rate is impressive. You got to be trying to lose 0 games as detachment.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to prove a point, maybe. But it's fewer players. It seems like, the book's in the balance zone as win rate goes. Seems fine.
I'm going to lose to make my life
Khorne Demonkin
fun.
is kind of a vibe.
It's
Maybe.
It's one of the armies that you can paint red in 40K.
Can make them go faster, right?
So Nathan, how have your games with Thousand Suns been going? Why are they cool? What's what's going well for you in those games?
What's cool about Thousand Suns?
Yeah, what's going well? Why should people care? What are you people worried about?
They took the Cabal point system and we're like, this is garbage, and threw it away, and then just made it 4 spells, which is a lot better and a lot easier to manage.
A quarter of their
use.
army rule is Oath of Moment.
Yeah. So I mean, for anybody who hasn't seen the Thousand Suns Codex, essentially you have 4 psychic abilities using classic warp charge stuff. You roll 2d6, see if you beat the warp charge. If you beat the warp charge, you can cast a basic version. If you beat the second higher warp charge, you get an even better version of it. And one of those is Oath of Moment. And then you can roll the third d6 to push it. And essentially, if you roll doubles at that point, you take D3 mortals on whatever character did it. So all the classics are there. There's Oath of Moment for 4 rerolls on a unit. There's Twist of Fate, which was ignore armor saves basically, and is now AP 2 if you overcast it. There's Doom Bolt, where if you overcast it, it's D3 plus 3 still. And then there is
Double Move.
The movement one, where it's just temporal shift, where you get a 6-inch movement during the shooting phase. And these all happen at the start of the shooting phase.
At least Magnus doesn't move 32 anymore.
True. You no longer get to full ass double move Magnus or yo-yo them around, because you have to do them all the same time essentially as well. So you don't get any choices other than just doing them all at once. But it is very good. Mutolith Vortex Beasts are great, which is funny because they were great before and they continue to be great.
They got better. They just gave them range.
They got better. Yeah, they were like, what if we gave all their weapons 6 more inches of range? They give no sound. Sorry, wrong. Okay. They're toughness 10. They have a 5-up in roll and 5-up feel no pain. They're reasonably good in melee combat. They're reasonably good at shooting. They can hold objectives just fine.
But I wish I had some reasonably good at shooting units that were reasonably as good as Mutoliths.
Yeah. I don't think they're amazing at any of those things, but they're above average at all of them, which makes them an amazing unit.
Right? I mean, I'm glad they're not damage 4 in combat anymore.
Yes, they are only damage 3 now.
Yeah. They got a strength buff. They did, however, get a strength buff to compensate, because just putting them to 9-2-3 would have been too little.
They're also farther ranged and still the most durable thing with a monster tag that isn't a Primarch.
Yeah, and they also still have the 6-inch in your fight phase or
end of movement
phase, buddy.
Sorry. At end of movement, you roll for every enemy unit within 6 inches and see if you cause them mortal wounds, which is very funny.
And also take a battle shock test, because no T-Sun's rule can just be one thing.
Right?
Nope, just any of them.
Oh.
Even a 1, even doing no mortals is a battle shock tag.
Interesting. Man, I have not looked at that data sheet closely enough apparently for that part of it.
Yeah, and they're 36 in range, 18 3d6 plus 6 dev wound gun. Oh, yeah. Never lost just an entire thing to that.
I did definitely blow up a rhino with it, just catching an edge of it.
A rhino?
Only
a rhino would be a
and then
gift.
a 5.
Yeah.
I know, but it was very funny.
5 turns to that shit.
In a meta full of small hulls, that gun's decent.
Yeah, in a meta full of D6 plus 6 is a vibe as damage go.
Yeah,
it's also just AP 5 full rerolls as well, just in case you really needed it.
Yeah, why not? There's no armies that depend on hulls whatsoever in this game in order for their special rules to work. Not a single one.
What I really want to see is just someone break out 34 field against Psychic Terminators again and just have a go. They'll still get tabled. It won't help, but I want to see them try. I want to see them try.
They have to kill 1 unit a turn instead of 2.
Heartbreaking.
It wouldn't work against the bows because they're not psychic coded.
So it also wouldn't do dick all against the Flamers or the Soul Reapers or the...
Yeah, and also you just got your character positioned out, so your minus 1 to wound is gone on your
Also, you're not a 4-up against mortal wounds anymore.
Yeah, it's only Drago that gets that. Drago gets that.
No.
If he's there.
D6 plus 6, not 3d6.
It's AP 3.
That would be a wild gun.
Plus 6. Yeah, D6 plus 6 is like one of Magnus's guns or something. That sounds more.
Yeah. Dude, the Terminator build doesn't work at all because of the goats. They just
precision out your characters.
Yeah, bye.
Also, you're never catching them.
I mean, even if you were,
you gotta move your movement 5 Terminators around, try to catch the goats.
aside from having every keyword in the book on their gun, they can be attached to an exalted sorcerer, have 18 on Shalom Up. And then they also get a reactive move if somebody ends with
And they slow the Terminator so they don't catch you.
And the sorcerer does. Yeah, the sorcerer can also just slow down a unit 2 inches so that they never catch you. You can try to catch them. The way that they were summarized to me, as I talked about at the beginning of the show, was that they are Eldar but better. So they have all the same like movement, shenaniganry, good shooting, reasonable to good melee combat that Eldar have. They're just better at all of it.
I mean, there are 1,000 Suns. I don't know why anyone would expect anything different from 1,000 Suns this edition.
Yeah, why are we describing them as Eldar but better? Well, we could perfectly describe them as Index 1,000 Suns but better.
True.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. I think. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
The thing that I always come back to, and the thing that drives me insane about armies like this pretty much always, is that, like, we get to this state where we're like, oh, they're hard to play. And it's like, I don't think that the Thousand Suns player should get you to beat you pillar to post because they had to think hard about it. That's bad, right? Like, that's not a good setup. And the inverse of this is something that I run into frequently now with the new World Eaters book, where a lot of the tools that you go to use in World Eaters, your opponent's like, oh man, I'm going to have to think just fucking so hard about this dude. And then they do. And then you're like, okay, so I don't get to do it, right? And they're like, no, not at all. And you're like, had to think about it though. Fucking got him. Made him think.
I bet by game 7, that'll really be wearing on you.
Boom. So that combination of factors with the timing of the way these two books have released has not done wonders for my enjoyment of the game.
I can see that. I definitely haven't assembled 3 Mutolith Vortex Beasts this week, just because.
I mean, you don't have to assemble shit.
Reasons.
There's a fucking robot behind you that does it.
I know, but I assembled plastic ones because I don't want to print them.
Fair enough.
In part because
Flying with printed ones does sound kind of miserable.
Also, I don't know if anybody's ever seen, like, there are great alternative models for like a lot of things, but there are not great alternative models for Mutolith Vortex Beasts.
No, I've seen the WC approval threads. I'm fully aware.
And
yeah,
I will say that the models were the first one of Mutolith Vortex Beast that I built was terrible because its chest is like 5 pieces that you have to rotate around and lock correctly in place, or the whole model doesn't fit together at all and has giant gaps. I don't know. I think that the army is too cheap. The theme of the Colt Marine books, except for World Eaters, has been that everything has been just a little too inexpensive for what it does. Death Guard are playing Custodes profiles while not paying Custodes premiums. Thousand Suns are playing better Eldar.
Thousand Suns are playing with the 18-inch load-up twist, bro. I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah. And are too cheap and can take 18 of those goats and still have
Actually, that's the nerf Thousand Suns need. We just play with the 18-inch load-up twist.
Why the fuck would they care?
Well, they can't.
Thousand Suns don't shoot you from far away, bro. What are we talking about right now?
They'll just get closer and slow you down.
No, I'm saying that would be a buff. This is like when people... Do you remember in 9th edition when we were like, no, dude, Tower only so high win rate because terrain's shit. And then you'd look at the events that they were winning and it was all like WDC
no,
events.
actually, Tower really good when terrain is medium.
Yeah. That's the same thing with T-Suns. T-Suns don't want an open board, right? The T-Suns want... Or they can do fine on an open board because they're still fucking Thousand Suns. But like they...
Don't need it.
They don't need it at all, right? They're happy to hide also.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's too cheap, and that's all that there is to it. And they might have to change some other stuff. That's fine.
Yeah, you get one of your spells.
Yeah, you only get one spell a turn now. Sorry,
dude. I'd fucking settle for they could only try each one once. What is the?
Yeah,
what
you
happened?
Keep going till it. You're just like I want to just keep going till I get it.
A psychic phase that cannot fail and cannot be interacted with is like, I'm sorry. Yep. What?
This isn't really a psychic phase, guys.
I kind of wish that the perils actually caused more mortal wounds than just D3. Like it caused enough to kill most characters in one go.
It should kill Magnus in one go if you roll triples.
It should do D3 plus 3 and start on a sorcerer.
Yep. Should do D3 plus the number you triples it on.
Ooh.
That might be too much.
18 plus 3.
No, like the value of the number. Like if you roll, if you roll triple sixes, it does 6 plus D3 to you.
Yeah.
Doom boat yourself.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
It sucks because like I don't want to like be pre-salty before I play a game against an army, right? That's never a good feeling, especially for the other pilot, right? But playing against them is just so fucking miserable, man. Like,
I'm looking forward to seeing the results coming out of Bristol this weekend.
yeah.
It'll be a good old fashioned fun time watching miserable 430 player event. I'm gonna go have a look at how many thousands of players there are.
Since we've kind of wrapped up the Thousand Suns chat, do we want to talk about new chapter approved mission stuff?
18 and Vic VJ's playing them, so it can't be a good sign.
Vic is on T-Suns with us.
I mean, Vic is on
T
T-Suns despite saying that they were terrible in our Discord.
Vic's only got 18 goats with bows.
Only 18 bow goats. Dang.
And only one vortex beast and a forge fiend.
He's so brave, Vic, just taking like these weak, downtrodden armies and doing his best to use skill expression to get over the line, you know?
We love you, Vic. We really do.
I'm going to really quickly talk about the German Super Major. And holy shit, why is Gladius okay? I don't understand. I watch people play this army sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, Gladius. And I play against it, and I'm like, oh yeah, Gladius is Gladiusing. And then I play with it, I'm like, where did my opponent go? What happened? There was models there, and then there wasn't a minute later. And there was no interaction points for any of it. Their stuff just dies because you just roll all your dice at them. And then Gulliman charges them. It was crazy. So like I played 5 games. I'm gonna actually try to do a video on this one, so I'll try to do a bit more of a summary on it. But game 1 I played against Hallow Screed Admech, and it wasn't particularly a game. The poor guy did not get his kill one. I put my entire army in front of him on turn 2, and he didn't get his kill one in Purge the Foe, and I felt a little bad. Canis Rex did 4 damage to Blizzard's Dreadnought. I was just like, defensive strat. Oh no, you only had 2 units to do damage. Sorry. Game 2, I played against Imperial Knights, and somehow a Vindicator and 2 Blizzard's Dreadnoughts failed to kill a War Dog on turn 1, or an Armored on turn 1, and I was a little upset.
I've had that happen before.
It was oath. I felt bad. I felt it was a little sad.
I mean, the gate is the wound roll and the like invulns, right? It's not
the gate was his 4 invuls. Yeah, it was a little. Yeah, it wasn't great. My Vindy did like 3 damage. I was very upset off of like 8 shots.
Oh, was it a Vindicator as well? I thought
it was a Vindicator and 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts.
Okay.
With oath. Yeah, I was a little.
I've had Ballistus bounce, but like.
Yeah, no, the Vindy like trundled forward with advanced shoot and went no damage.
Yeah,
it's just like, aw. But then Canis Rex died to a tank chuck and couldn't fight on death, so that was pretty funny. He was like, "So I'll fight on death," and I'm like, "I'm really sorry, buddy, but it's the charge phase." Yeah. Game 3, I did the good old. I played against orcs on layout 1 in Hammer and Anvil, and if you know anything about layout 1 Hammer and Anvil, all the objectives are just in a line straight across the kill zone, and there's like basically no ability to stand on them and be out of line of sight from across the board. But my opponent did have 18 tank busters, so I looked at him and I was like, well, I'm going second. I don't actually need to do anything this game. I'm just going to keep shooting you off the middle. I'm going to score my points on turn 5. So we did that. I had one good solid push play. I pushed Calgar to the thing, punched something, consolidated back behind the wall. A unled squad of Breaker Boys one-tapped him, and I went, oh no, okay, cool, we ain't doing that.
Wow, that is unlikely.
Yes, I know. I died before the tank hammer swung.
What?
So, like, that leads me to believe that it was Warhorde.
It was.
But he had 18 tank busters?
Yeah, dude. I wasn't running them. Yep. I don't know, dude. Yeah, 6 unled Breaker Boys walked out in the war turn, charged in, handed Calgar's unit 14 saves through Armor of Contempt. Now, obviously, I Armor of Contempt and fight on death because I had 8 CP at this point. So, like, you know, you do both. Right? You had your bets. So yeah, I got down to Calgar and the Vitrix, and I had 6 saves left in my hand. I had both Vitrix left. I was like, I'm just gonna start taking it on Calgar because I want like as much health left as I can to try and do some damage back when I go in next turn. Rolled 4 saves, failed them all. I'm like, well, that's not good. First 6 feel no pains. Calgar dies. And then both the Vitrix go. I'm like, Well, the order I did that didn't matter, at least. It doesn't nothing to do with that. Come on, Calgar.
Yeah, Jesus, dude, that was bad.
It was
because you did it
You
wrong.
can just get
He was like,
abandoned.
get punished for doing it incorrectly. You didn't follow the book, dude.
It's not even strictly incorrectly, but I'll
Yeah.
take your. I wasn't taking saves on the victory card against the tank busters. That's trolling.
Sounds like all of this was trolling, dude.
And then, yeah, turn 5 or his turn 5. His flash gets and Luta's. His Luta's and
His what?
tank busters. No, flash gets and tank busters.
Okay.
Combined did 1 damage with a squig bomb to the lone lieutenant.
Nice.
Stealth and cover, and then they hit the 9 onto him and flipped my objective. It was very sad. So I only got a 14-6 that game. Yeah, it's fine. Game 4 I played on stream, so if you want to watch this one, you can go check out the Breaking Heads stream. Malta and Fred Otto commented it. I played against Manuel Wayland, who was playing Chaos Space Marines, and he decided that he was going to lose the game, so he threw literally 1,800 points of Chaos Space Marines directly into me on turn 2. He was just like, "Here you go."
Did he kill much of you?
He killed not much. It was kind of sad. So like two predators and a noise marine squad. The noise marine split fired, put all the small guns into an infiltrator squad or an interceptor squad and killed it. And then the 2 predators and the 2 blastmasters did 1 damage to my vindicator, which is like real cover hours.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then his other blastmaster squad and his other vindicator killed my reaper, and then his chaos lord charged my ballistic dreadnought and did no damage because I wasn't on an objective. And sometimes chaos lords do that, and he wasn't Dread Reaver. And then Dread Reaver killed my lone up lieutenant. And then his possessed squad got 4 guys into the ballistic dreadnought and 4 guys into Calgar, and the 4 guys into the ballistic dreadnought killed it. Just straight 6 death wounds, dead. He was playing Renegade Raiders for anyone. There was no buffs on this, just like straight 4/6s go away. And then the 4 into Calgar did 2 damage with a dev wound.
All right.
I'm just like, I don't understand what happened there, but I don't care. And then I just put an army into him and eventually just about tabled him. So I won that game by 3 points because he full sent me on turn 2 in Scorched Earth and zeroed me on my home objective by reactive moving the 6 possessed left onto it. Jesus. I was like, oh, that's probably not great. Yeah. That was the only game this weekend Gulliman died. He died. He got grenaded by scouts and then stood back up and just walked into them and cleaved them to death. It was great. And then game 5, I played against last year's winner, Marvin, who was playing Awakened Dynasty, and I got to play Fixed, and I love playing Fixed against Awakened Dynasty because every time he went to do a secondary, he was like, my Hexmark's gonna probably not do that. I don't want to give up assassination. So turn 1. I went first. I walked forward with a scout squad, I oathed the Scorpex squad, and I went grenade. 5 damage, 4 damage. I guess I'll shoot them. Lord down to 3. The Feel No Pain Lord, specifically. From the scouts, grenade and shooting with both a moment. God, I love Space Marines. And then I was playing Fixed Engage, and he was against his deployment zone in Search and Destroy with the Scorpic Lord and a Doomsday Arc. So I just charged them both, and I was like, if you do big swings and you kill 2 guys, I'll get forward engage. And he went small attacks. So I just kept the Scorpic Lord and the Doomsday Arc there. And then next turn I charged it with Gulliman. So I won this game 18-2. I think I killed 80 warriors.
Yeah.
The unit ended with 20 models alive on 2 objectives.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I was like this close. It had 6 models left when I went to fire the 12 shotgun on the Reaper as the last thing it was activating, and I got it down to 3. The Reaper just whiffed.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, he rolled pretty well on his 4-ups. I lost that Reaper and then some infantry that game. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't like Awakened Dynasty very much.
Pickles is just living the best life.
So anyway,
I don't even know what you're doing.
Pickles is great. So anyway, yeah, I will do my best to try to get a proper video out on the German Super Major. I will shout out one thing. I ended up finishing 4th. I was really hoping to stay for the top 8, and I was planning on it, and I recorded like the short thing to stay for it. And then I looked at rebooking my flights, and it was going to be way too expensive for me to stay. And so my flights out of Germany were like 10 p.m. and the schedule on the website didn't exist. So I went off the schedule for the previous days, which had us finishing at like 8:30. I was an hour and a half away from the airport, and I wouldn't have been in the town. So I was like, probably can't do that. And then I dropped, and then they were like, hey, this is the schedule, and it was different. And I was like, probably could have made that. So I want to as a PSA to every event out there, if you want people to stay for your top 8 and be please post the schedule and where the top 8 is, because the top 8 was a different venue to the rest of the regular event, which we didn't know, and we didn't know where it was. So please, all of that stuff should be in the pack. I would really appreciate it in future. Because I really would have liked to stay. I'm obviously absolutely made up for Nicholas. I ended up dropping out, and Nicholas Fritchin managed to get in, and Nicholas did win the tournament on his redemption run, because he did lose to Caillou in round 4, but he managed to get his way back through. So yeah, shout out to Nicholas for making the redemption run. Yeah, I also want to say rough run for Nast. If anybody got that on the stream at the end of the event, obviously there was a couple of issues going on there. I want to say that I think that judge call was harsh. Obviously, Nas is a friend, and I felt bad for him. But if anybody saw that as well and knows the context, just wanted to put that out there as well. And I thought that was an unnecessary judge call, and that could have been handled better. And it was a bit of a sad thing to end with. But I got to spend like 10 hours in the airport with Nas, which was also miserable. So, I really feel like I got the worst end of that deal.
Damn it. All right, let's talk about mission cards.
How many diff have you lost to challenger cards today?
I haven't. It's way funnier because my games have been pretty close when I've been playing. So in my most recent game with Thousand Suns, nobody drew a challenger card the whole game. We were just really close up until the end, and then I just ran away with it in turn 5, basically. And the same thing in the Space Wolves game. Like, it was close in the beginning, and then I tabled my opponent and then ran away with it in the second half of the game, basically. So I haven't actually seen anybody use a challenge card as of yet.
I've not gotten to draw one yet in like 5 games. My opponents have a lot. I keep playing Space Wolves and running at them. It's really hard to not give your opponent challenger cards. Shout out to the game I played in Supply Drop, which was made incredibly miserable to be going first in by the fact that my only win condition was running away on score, and that does not work anymore with challenger cards. That was particularly fucking awful. Shout out to the Death Guard army going second in Supply Drop, drawing challenger cards at me as it tabled me, as I had dared to score 10 primary by turn 3.
Challenger cards are like a weird mechanic in my mind.
I had a Tiger Shark get lethal hits against me today.
What?
Yeah, I drew the challenger card. He was like, I get lethal hits now on my Tiger Shark. Let's go.
We're just gonna cruise right past Tiger Shark.
Yeah,
we're just gonna be like, dude, the challenger cards gave it lethal hits, and just
yeah, don't worry about it. My threat effects on my X screen had a really bad day. Okay.
Or what? You don't play that army.
Innes, you're not the hive mind anymore. Only the 4.
It's fine. I like to give the turret at Discord just like a little bit of a hint that maybe I think the army might be okay again. But I don't. It's okay. It's terrible.
No.
We
can't all be Caillou.
I think the challenger cards have the occasion for, like, as comeback mechanics go, if you score the 3 automatically, and that's the only additional scoring you get, you're like never catching up. But if the stratagem comes in at the right moment, you can like annihilate your opponent off a table.
I think Bruce playing Emperor's Children has drawn fallback and charge 3 times against me.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, that sucks. I don't know. So I have seen a lot of people get really, really upset about challenger cards, like in the broader discourse. And I am what I would imagine surely one of the people
wanting them.
Yeah, surely one of the people most affected by something like this, right? And I, pretty publicly, pretty often am like, it's okay to lose a game that you're losing, right? And maybe it's just the PTSD, like the Stockholm syndrome or whatever that's been caused by
secret missions, bro. They're not. I'm not getting on broken walls
from secret missions. That it's just like, I don't know. Someone got like 6 points. That's a little frustrating, and they got like an extra stratagem. That kind of sucks.
I didn't lose the game on turn 5 because of this.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't get to the end and be like, doesn't even matter what I do. Oh wow, stopping you on primary means nothing. Like I didn't just spend the whole game like fucking. I guess
they're definitely better than original secret missions.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced they're better than the end state secret missions, but they're like at least close.
I mean, the best thing we could do is go back to Gambits, where the only use of them is for Scary to make content with. And that's perfectly acceptable for a comeback mechanic in these games.
Honestly, I don't even think you will in some cases just never draw them, right? Neither you nor your opponent, if you like, are relatively close to one another for most of the game, you won't ever draw them.
So I think
it's never going to bring you back from like the brink the way that secret missions did, right?
So it brings you back from the brink, or sometimes you get one just like fully undeservedly, right? Like primary hasn't scored yet. You're like actively in the middle of like terraforming and sabotage and something else. And then like the points haven't, the load bar hasn't completed. So like you get a challenger card for no fucking reason in a game you're winning. That's bad. Like obviously that's not great.
I think maybe like turn 3, 4, and 5. Maybe not 2. There's like, I double zero my cards. My opponent got 6, and I'm holding like Sab. Get the defender card. Really bugs me. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like them enough to discard them. Like I'm gonna do it still, but
I'm gonna take my 3 points or my walk through walls.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not, like. It is what it is. I don't know. I feel way more like, fine about this. I don't know if that's just because I've been beaten down by Games Workshop for long enough now. Like, I'll be at, this November will be my 5th year playing. So maybe like somewhere around the 5-year mark, they just leave enough bruises that you're like, all right, not the face, good enough.
It's not a broken wall. It's not a broken wall. There's not one Grey Knight Terminator or a micrometer in my deployment zone, so I scored 20. Why was it not wholly within?
True.
Why was it not wholly within?
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Like they're fine. I've definitely seen people like bug in a bit. People being like, they need to be banned from WTC, or like they need to be this. It's like, fucking calm down. Like it's frustrating. I'm sure a bunch of rounds are going to be different because of it.
Stop putting 18s on your matrix and start putting 16s like an adult.
Dude, people put 8. That's crazy. 18 on the Matrix is some disrespectful shit. That's wild.
I did that Eurotrash. I put a straight 18 against Vanguard Nids with Blood Angels. I was like, there's no way. I got a 20. It was fine, but
disgusting.
Yeah, my coach came over and was like, "What did you get?" I was like, 20. He's like, "Sweet," and then went to put it on his. Was like, "Oh, +2. What?"
Yeah.
Ruben, the Grey Knight player, says,
I just also have not yet.
And I don't think Ruben should be allowed to have opinions on that as a Grey Knight player.
Yeah. So. Ruben, we're not going to let you reroll 1s in Word Ban anymore, dude. You get nothing. The attachment's just blank.
No more detachment roll at all. It's just gone.
Yeah. Nope. Purifiers can reroll 1s to hit in the shooting phase.
They can roll 1 to hit in your opponent's fight phase.
Sure. That's also fine.
All right, I'm gonna take the start questions, and then we'll jump back and we'll do a couple of bits. So thank you to Spooky Kabuki for signing up as a new member. No, I'll do the plugs after I do this, but we're gonna do the people that paid us money to talk things. So thank you to Spooky Kabuki for signing up as a member. Remember, you can check out the YouTube membership program in the description below if you want a fancy green name on Discord on YouTube. Ben says, thank you for the $2. It says Thousand Suns hot takes. Army's stupid. Someone's gonna score 140 with the WC this year.
It simultaneously turns the pilot and the opponent into all those like memes of Ben Affleck smoking or drinking Dunkin' Donuts outside a building. Like it does it to both of you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I love
War Masters Matt says, great seeing you in this. I got the 10 versus the USA BA. Yay. Hell yeah, Matt. It was great seeing you at German Super Major as well. And good job on getting the 10, man. No one, you can't predict better than 10 against the Wicked Dynasty, bro. That's just how it works. Getting a 10 with the Wicked Dynasty is like saying, oh, yeah, dude, I remembered to breathe today.
I mean, depends on who's playing the other army. Put them down.
Certainly could try. Bubble Fart 69, thank you for the €5. Says, why is Mr. Violence not having fun? Brian Doherty had fun in Dallas, placed 3rd. That's the Slaughterbound difference, baby. Anthony's not a Slaughterbound believer.
Maybe.
Fun is stored in the Exalted 8 band.
I think that's the right way to phrase this. Give me a second. I think I would have a lot of fun playing World Eaters if I was still playing the game the same way that I did in 2022. Nailed it.
Okay,
like
you
said
guys
WTC-less
can read
existence.
that however you want.
Whatever you want.
Probably not charitably. I wouldn't read that as a nice thing.
That's-
But
Dude, if I was playing as much as I was in 2022, I'd be having a blast.
okay. And Centurion Karn says, Anthony, I got best world eaters with Index Warband at Rocky Top, and Angron rolled so bad. I really don't care. He's been demoted to Pigeon Scarer. And thank
Dude,
you
that's
for the
fair.
$5.
Yeah. The best thing about him is that he can hit things with fly. Like flyers.
He's really good
like
against Tiger
planes.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had to play that game against the Doomsday Arcs now from Eurotrash last year.
Oh my god, bro. Dude, at the time, when we got to the table and he took out, like, I remember he took out one more than I thought he had, and I was like, oh, fuck. I distinctly remember being like, all right, he's got two, it'll be okay, and then he's, like, deploying, and he, like, sets up a third one, and I'm like, oh, no. And then I was like, Ramon came by and was like, what's your prediction? I was like, the same. Just come and see me in like 10 minutes. Let me just like make sure. Yeah. So, you know.
Christ.
I do think that Willow has the correct take, though, which is unironically, Anthony, please consider having fun while playing the game.
I mean,
Anthony loves Warhammer, just not playing it or dealing with it.
I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing, right? So, like, I like a lot of the things around 40K. And when I'm like in the middle of doing it, 40K is quite fun, right? But there is definitely an element of like a lot of the parts of the game right now as a competitive endeavor are very frustrating. Particularly, like, again, anyone who played at all, like at any point did tournament play in 9th, could have seen like what is happening right now and been like, oh no, not again. Yeah, this is terrible timing of releasing codexes right before a whole bunch of
the
changes.
Iron Hands Codex?
Yeah, sure, the harbinger of doom, the end of us all, right? That which brings ruin, you know.
The balanced data slate when they bring out the new detachments, it's actually just called Iron Hands.
Yeah, they don't even pretend.
It's just like it's Iron Hands harbingers of the end or something like
that. Yeah. So ready. Yeah, I think that, like, you know, I don't like what's the right way to say this? I don't like mean to come off as like negative, right? You know, I'm broadly like I enjoy a lot of the things around 40K. But I think the specific play cycle experience of playing right now is definitely built to burn, is the way I would put it. And I think you can kind of see it, like, even just in something as simple as like Team USA, right? We had so little of our returning roster return that, like, you know, like people that were originally planning on like just being coaches or just doing this or just doing that or having other roles or maybe stepping away, it just like had to step up and fill spots because we ran out of dudes from, you know, the veteran side of the team, right? I think that probably broadly the way that the WTC is set up in general does not do good things to the people that it asks to play it, right? Like the it being in August and us having this like we must never play Old Hammer strict, you know, take means that if you want to win the event, you do have to kind of set yourself on fire to provide the fuel for the team to win the things. And that's not like a leadership thing. That's an all 8 pilots thing. Like, if you want to win, that's what it is, because the other teams are going to do it. And if you don't, you won't. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think that, like, I don't know, there's so much they could do that can be done to mitigate this, from the organizers of the event perspective down through, like, you know, just doing it at a different fucking time. Like, how good would WTC be if it happened in fucking May, right?
Hey, there's a spot in January now. LVO just moved.
Sure. I mean, that would also work, right? Like, anything, and you just don't, you commit to not playing whatever comes out at, like, the end of December or whatever, right? And you just move the fuck on, and, like, it doesn't have to be, you know, right after a major shakeup of the game, which seems to always happen in June, or at least has always happened since I've been playing.
June is when they release new editions, right? So it just works for the year cycle.
Yeah, it's brutal, dude. But, like, again, like, I'm sure it's, you know, more interesting for the person that's going to spend 15 minutes reading our lists on Reddit before deciding they need to write their own, that we play the new rules. But ultimately for the people that are at the event, I think it's generally a pretty like.
At least in theory, we get a lot longer this time, right? Like the balance date is, I say a lot longer. The balance date say if it's this week, which we're expecting given the chapter approved on
I
Saturday.
mean, rules locks in a month. List locks in
It's
6
in
weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
Do you think 6 weeks is enough time to fully explore a meta?
I mean, if it's not, that doesn't matter, right?
But it will be if you set yourself on fire to provide the fuel. And it won't be if you don't, and that's the problem, right? That's the core issue. Is that it's like, yeah, you can put 160 hours a week into it, I guess. Or
eight reserved for sleeping, of course.
yeah. You know, it's just, it kind of is what it is. Like, it's worth doing. It's, you know, still the best event to go to. It's the reason that I don't go to any other ones, really, or a significantly reduced count. But it is like a real thing that happens, right?
It involves like basically lighting the candle on fire. Currently,
yeah, just the whole thing. Like, you just douse it in
thing.
gasoline.
It's not both ends. You douse the whole thing in gasoline, like Anthony said,
Yeah.
and then light the whole candle on fire.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I guess that's marginally warmer than just lighting the candle, but fuck. It's not good for the candle.
No.
All right, guys, I'm going to do the plugs. So, if you are, as 181 of you are, enjoying the show, please do remember to support the work we do. There are a bunch of ways you can do that. The first and easiest is to do all the usual interaction things. That's like subscriptions, site with making sure people see the things we're doing, that we get to keep bringing you the things that we love making and that we know what you guys like and don't like, right? That's a really big part of it. If we see that there's a bunch of stuff that you guys aren't liking and aren't responding to, then that kind of tells us that we should be doing things a little differently. So yeah, please do use that. It's your best tool. If you're in a position to support us a little bit more, you can check out either Patreon, that's patreon.com/statcheck, or the YouTube membership program, which is in the description below. And you can get access to our Patreon Discord. You can get access to chatting to all of us wonderful people. You can also have some amount of input on bonus content. All that kind of stuff is available through there for $5 a month. $15 a month. I'll also get your name shouted out at the end of the show for Nathan's terrible segment. You can check out all of our sponsors. That's red-dragon.ca, Saltar Games at saltargames.co.uk, Wayland Yutani at wayland-yutani-inc.com, and J15 Games at etsy.com/shop/J15Games. That is for, and StatCheck patrons are going to get 15% off the entire store, all of 40K, and 20% off of everything else. That's through our Patreon and YouTube memberships. You can find all of that at reddragons.ca and in the various links where you find them. You can also check out the other podcasts on our network. That is Enter the Matrix, X and One, Take All Comers, and Champions of 40K. You can find all of those as well as all of our back episodes and our live episodes at youtube.com/statcheck. 11 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Eastern every week. Us here for the live show if you want to hear even more of us, or we're everywhere good podcasts can be found and bad podcasts can be found. Mostly we're just everywhere you can find podcasts. We won't make any judgments on the quality of our podcast. You guys get to do that for us. If you'd like to get some help with the upcoming new metagame, you can also check out stat-check.com/coaching or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com, whether you'd like to work with myself, Liam, Nas, Noj, Tyler, Lucas, or Pumbaa. You can check that out at Patreon at stat-check.com/coaching. I'll shout out Pumbaa this week. If you want to work on team stuff, Pumbaa is the place to go. If you're interested in getting, help from one of the highlights behind one of the greatest, most successful teams of all time, Pumbaa is the place to reach out to. He is a wonderful, wonderful coach. And if you're on European time zones, it's going to be even easier. You are not at the end of the stream, Somo. We're just doing the plugs. What else did I need to plug? Yeah, you can go check out the extra thing we did with Alice earlier today. That went live at 5:30 today. It'll joining into the new general trend of trying to do a weekly extra bit of content. You can find that on youtube.com/statcheck. We went through the Mortarian's Hammer and all the good things that come with that. Did anyone else on StatCheck do any bonus content this week that we need to shout out?
Nope.
Sick. I have one person I want to shout out really quickly, which was someone that I said I would shout out at the event in Germany. So I want to shout out the powerofthecookie.net. They did some really cool mats that they made at the event that were at the event in Germany. I'm just going to quickly throw their link up on screen because I said I would. They did really cool mats and I would like to shout them out. So if you're looking for mats in Europe, then do check them out. They had like the hex grid and proper stuff like that, which I really like, just having that grid on the table mat so you can put down, setting up stuff like GW or WC terrain made it much quicker. Setting up the GW terrain on those mats was like super speedy. So yeah, definitely recommend them. They were at the event and it was great fun. That's not that. Do I have anything else I need to plug? Oh god, I hate when I have to do extra bits because I can never remember if I've done them all. That's probably fine. If I forgot anything, shout at me in the comments. Right, now we're going to do the patron questions. So, as always, there are 3 ways to get your questions answered on the show. 1 is to do what we did earlier. Leave a super chat on the YouTube live stream. We will definitely shout it out. 2 is to be a member of the YouTube or Patreon membership program and leave your comment in the show thread every week. And the third one is to just ask a really good question if we have time. But we can't promise that will work. So, give us money and we'll definitely ask your questions. Unless it's a terrible question or we already answered it. In which case, sorry. Nathan, take us away.
1 second.
This is
Dang,
the
I needed to
worst.
sneeze there. Nick K asks, if you had to pick one thing you'll be disappointed by in the slate, what is it?
Teradata data sheets. It's always Teradata data sheets.
I don't know. Possessed, probably.
It's probably Possessed. Yeah, that's actually fair. Yeah, I'll be disappointed if Possessed aren't removed from the game. So
That would be fine. I wouldn't even.
you wouldn't even notice. Yeah, they just get rolled into Chaos Spawn. You're like, yeah, that's probably fine.
Fair enough.
We should give a Chaos Spacer and Chaos Spawn an OC so they can be the same as the other 4 data sheets that are that.
Nah, it's way funnier this way.
I found yesterday that Death Guard Hellroot Hammers hit on 3s and no one else's do.
CSM can have OC on their spawn when everyone else gets fucking chosen.
I don't want to play against Death Guard Chosen, so
Fuck that, dude. World Eater chosen? God. Oh. Made myself sad.
just
All right, anyway.
any access to advance in charge.
John X4 asks, what's your favorite rumor you've heard about a data slate? This slate
We don't
or
discuss
any
rumors on the
prior
show.
slate? What about prior slate rumors?
Prior slates? I don't even think I remember rumors from prior slates.
That shit goes in the nothing box next
It
to the
goes
childhood,
straight over.
We
Every
created
time
a
someone's
channel at
like,
one point.
this thing's getting squatted, I'm just like, no, it's not.
Squatted means you get a range refresh now, right?
That's fair.
Yeah. We
Beam
did at one
planes.
point
Beam
create
planes.
Yeah, Beam Planes is the best rumor. We did at one point create a channel called We Don't Know, where people could put all of their stuff that they wanted to put into that like random speculation, basically.
That channel, I think, still is
So
there.
yeah. So you can just shout your anxieties into the void there if you want. That it's only visible to mods.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Let we don't know be your
So-
therapist. It's probably fine.
Yeah, the nothing box
It
that we
only
can
costs you
read.
$5
That's
a
probably good
month.
for you. It's probably good for you to have a nothing box that we have access to.
John V8 Gang asks, what's something you want in the slate, but you know GW are too scared to do?
Battle line Norns that are 150 points.
What? Innes didn't even try. He was just like, fuck it.
I want to play Chaos Knights with 12 Norns.
The grenades keywords for some Tyranid units.
Whoa.
That's no. Hold on. That's part of our faction identity now.
Yeah, calm down, dude.
You can draw a challenger card for grenades if you want grenades.
I want lictors to have the grenade keyword. That's what I
What?
want.
No.
Like Death Leaper, lictors,
Okay,
Nero lictors.
I have
they can
a
all have
really,
grenade.
really bold ask. All right, GSC, no changes.
I think what they should do is go in and just remove the GSC section of the data slate and just see what happens. Like, don't touch the points. Just remove anything that's been in a balanced data slate for them.
Do you even know what? I don't even know what that is.
Me either. That's why I think it'd be funny.
All right, John B has the next question. There are a lot of questions this week. So, how often do you guys, when you're at a GT or major, take your foot off the gas, so to say? I played a couple games at Rocket Top where my opponent was never really in the game, so I definitely eased off. I was then told I was crazy for that since I was trying for best world leaders, and it did come down to points. They did get it.
If I have already 20-0'd my opponent and we're playing 20-0, that's fine. If I've already scored 100 and we're playing 100-0, they can have their turn 5, bro. I ain't fussed. Anything else? Nah, man. We're playing a competitive game. You signed up for this.
Many moons ago, when I was first starting, was battering the person I was playing against and had them be like, oh, like, let me just, like, get some points. And that turned into a long argument and judge call about how they were actually going to win. And never again since.
You mean nice once the score submitted?
Yeah. Sure, maybe. Not even then, probably. I don't think it's nice to give people more points, personally.
No, I mean, like, you can be nice to them about the game afterwards.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's fine. But, like, I don't view the, like, oh, dude, you got an 80. Wink, wink. I think that shit is, like,
that
super
is...
patronizing. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, the furthest I'll go into it is, like, if I've hit my 100... I like don't need to do shit to you on turn 5. I'm like, yeah, dude, I hit 100. You fucking feel free, man. I don't need to do that shit.
I don't have to. I'm gonna. That backfield holder is dying.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Each their own. I'll do that in 20. No, I won't do that. I won't do that in 100. I don't feel the point. I just want to be done. I want my break. I value my break more than those 3 points I took off them.
I think it's faster if I kill them on 4 than to talk about how they're going to score on 5.
That's fair. Maybe for you.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is from Goran, which is, what changes does Anthony want for World Eaters?
So I assume that there is no world in which GW is willing to let Exalted be cheaper than standard 8-bound, right?
That
much
does
like,
seem
much
like the names kind of indicate.
Right. Much like the
Exalted
Terminator will never be cheaper than the Intercessor despite being worse. Fair? So, in that vein, I would like them to do something to Exalted to make them usable. Flat 3, hit on 2s, 4-up invuln, take your fucking pick.
Any combination. Make them 200 points. Just make them do stuff.
Maybe don't make them 200 points, because there is an upper limit to, like, how offensively functional this unit can be while being 3 dudes. Like, in a world where they can advance and charge and kill everything they touch, 160 is still too much for what they are. Because they just explode on contact immediately. Exalted are not like a second activation unit, in my experience.
No, they are not.
Like, the first thing you aim at them is like, that'll probably do. So
you might get a fight on death in a melee matchup.
Yeah, then, that's
like,
fine.
They're not
way
like,
different.
They're like actually fairly vulnerable to just like melee or army chip damage and shooting. They're real fragile.
Yeah. So like I would like them to do something, and I would like them to do something in a way that perhaps is commiserate with a point drop, right? I don't think 8-bound should be 50 points. Regular 8-bound should be 50 points per model either, along the same vein. You'll see lists take a lot of them because there's no other options in that book. It's like getting on Emperor's Children players for running like a bunch of Wing Princes or a bunch of Noise Marines. It's like, what the fuck else do you want them to use? So that would be a huge change, I think. Exalted, like, just being able to do something would be great. Obviously, like, the whole book, like, top to bottom is pretty much overcosted, except for, like, exactly Forge Fiends, assuming they behave. Forge Fiends are priced for the 1 in 4 activation where they just miss entirely and do actual nothing.
Yeah, but that's only 1 in 4. You usually get, like, 7.
Right, yeah. But I don't know. It's a hard thing. Like, there's a lot of parts of World Leaders that I wish were different. Like, I would put Pile Console 6 way higher in the Blood Dice chart and then drop the army's cost by, like, 15%.
I feel like I've never seen them miss a blood type they want now since the book changed.
Oh, see, I miss all the time. It's actually really easy to miss because you can't use triples to get lower value things.
That's fair.
Yeah, they changed the blood dice chart. So a lot of the things that people used to just be like, oh, I'll just do this, don't work at all anymore. And also you don't have icons to cover the difference. So if you roll Snake Eyes, guess what? Your ass is re-rolling charges that turn. No agency. It's not a second buff. It doesn't do anything else. You trying again when you fail to charge. That's it. So I don't think they'll ever like rework that. So like the Pile Console being deeper in the chart thing is just like a complete pipe dream. But like just as like a general PSA, like actually look at what your World Eater player rolls and like make them show you the chart. Not everything is like easy to get. Many like I'm gonna go hit that guy turn now has been followed by an Anthony gets reroll charges and Pile Console 6 and screams. So yeah.
Totally fair.
Right. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things they could do. Whether or not they have enough, or they feel like they have enough data to actually act on the state things are in.
From what it looks like, World Eaters are tracking around 50 anyway. Like I understand that there's some like top end differentiation there, but based on card data, it doesn't.
It's fine.
Like they need a change.
Yeah, there are things in the book that need changes to be able to see more frequent play.
Yeah, there's like some internal balance stuff there, but the external balance looks
Is fine.
fine. Like,
yeah, it's
fine in a
boring
sad
but
way.
fine is how I would describe them, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Seth the Mad Doc has the next question, which is now
Yep.
that the stats have returned and all. You want to skip it?
No,
Is that
it's
what we're gonna do?
I'm just winding Seth up.
If each stat check host was a flavor of soda, what would they be and why? Innis would be an earn brew.
I am absolutely not. I am Lucozade orange. It's 30% of my body weight.
It's fair.
It's nectar of the gods.
I feel like I am
enough.
whatever soda you want as long as you put Pop Rocks in it. That's me.
I love that. Actually, that's great.
The soda that hurts you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
soda, the snack that bites back, dude. I'm the opposite
Some
of
you're
Goldfish.
like soda with chili.
Oh, not like that.
Oh.
That's crazy.
No.
Soda that, yeah.
That
Nathan?
does-
Wants the Anthony
Soda,
wants the
anything mixed with
explosions.
Malort for Nathan.
Oh,
Sure, I'll take it. They made candies, so I'm waiting to see if those will arrive before I
They
go
made
to Ottawa.
Malort candies.
Yeah, they
That's
joined up with the confectioner to make Malort
disturbing.
candies.
That drink was
know.
not good.
It wasn't, but
No.
I actually think Malort is fine. But either way. Chris Polly has the next question. So with the data slate on the horizon, how many points is Fulgrim going to come down, and why will bringing 3 Mauler fiends still be better?
I like. It's so sad. Fulgrim could be good if he was just on 100 mil.
Like,
If-
Fulgrim is waiting for the competitive tournament upgrade pack. It's just a 100 mil base adapter for him.
Yeah, I like if he was on like 100 mil and cost like 325, he'd be fucking frequently used, I would say, even. But he just isn't either
Isn't.
of those things.
You
so
can't place him anywhere. Like,
you just can't complete a move with him, so it doesn't matter.
if you like exclusively play on GW layout
Like 4.
5,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if you play on one of like the ass ones and they don't put like walls on the like the
Sure.
plates. Like if you're playing on one of the places that's just like the plates flat, like the one I was at in Germany, they'd have been fine in Germany because he could have landed a bunch of places because there was no terrain on those places. Maybe he'd be okay, but he still
Sure.
doesn't. He's 6 inches wide, bro. He doesn't fit between any ruins.
He's big, dude. He's fucking huge.
He's too big.
He's a large.
Alright,
He's large
Tom H.
and not in charge.
Tom H has the next question, which is:
There we
Is
go.
it smart to try and boat race a coterie player if you think you'll be giving up points regardless?
To
What? Boat race?
Boat race a coterie. Yeah, boat race is what it says. I think it's. Is it?
I
should
mean, you can let
aggro,
shit get
like,
crazy with
should you
Coterie as
run
much
at a
as you want.
player?
You can ride the lightning against Coterie.
So-
It sometimes works.
Your options with Coterie are fight them or let them decide the pace. And
Yep.
I've seen A result in 10s and B mostly results in getting fucked to death on top of your home objective. So
Every
You
time
know.
I've played against DC that it's gone well, it's been riding the lightning against them and just be like, you don't have buffs yet. Let's
Yeah.
fight now.
right, yeah, that's your option. And if
Yep.
you let like the problem with Coterie is if they get to 7, Noise Marines just like beat your ass in melee, and that's like not a great spot
Frankly,
to
if they
be
get
in.
to 5, you start dying of that shit in melee sometimes.
If you play GSC, I guess. But yeah.
I die to them before they get buffs, so let's not that ain't
Yeah.
a thing. My units die when they go out. That's okay. If when that cacophonous squad opens up when they have sustained hits, you're just like, oh, this is just awful, bad, no good times. I don't like that guy when that happens.
Lost Karn and all his friends to that squad activating last time I played. It's pretty sad.
Yeah. Ugh, easy.
Tom H has the next question, which is: Is
Yeah,
it
the
smart
last
to try
question.
and? Oh no, damn it! Paul Yunson has the next question. Sorry, I was just scrolling through questions and trying to figure out where I was. Pick
Hard.
2 twists. These are now played every game alternatingly at WTC.
Night fighting, Warlord
Night
extra
fight.
attacks.
There you go.
Um,
I'm glad that Anthony and I were apparently on the identical page.
Yeah.
to give like a somewhat, I don't even think there's a reasonable answer here, but it's like
No, none of them are reasonable. They're all
it's like
crazy.
stalwarts and the draw an extra card one.
No, Warlord
maybe.
extra attacks is fine.
Do I don't want to play against Magnus with that just at all.
Whatever. He's not gonna kill any less or more kill you. He's gonna kill you all the same.
I just don't agree.
That's fair.
All right, what's
All right.
next?
The next question is actually from Tom H. And does it ever get frustrating
Yes.
Yes, it does get frustrating when
to
Nathan
guy when
freezes.
it comes to GSC/World Eaters?
Oh, try again.
Yeah, try that one again.
Oh, did I
Nathan.
freeze?
Yeah.
You did.
Okay. Does it ever get frustrating being the face/go-to guy when it comes to Gene Stealer Cult/World Eaters?
No, we're both in the saddest sense possible. We are both Warhammer influencers who significantly trade at least a portion of our income and all of our income on being Warhammer personalities that are famous that people care about. And Satchek wouldn't exist without that. Us having very noticeable niches is strongly in our favor and definitely not a thing that we deliberately cultivate.
It's pretty all right. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating, but the trade-off is well worth it. You know, literally a single instance of someone being like, you know, like the content you make on World Eaters or like the help you've provided with World Eaters like helps me enjoy tournaments more is worth the like, you know, 8th tag about changing something that doesn't matter in the list, right?
Yeah, I love helping people with things. The only thing that's annoying with it is when you're playing a different army for a bit and you kind of like for me, like I play 5-6 armies. You know, Anthony's a little more constrained in his bulb of like 4. Where like I look away from Cheat Circle for like a couple weeks and I look back and I'm like, oh, matchups have all changed.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of catch up because you're kind of like you kind of have to keep your community happy. There's a little bit of that, but no, it's all worth it. I love it. I love being, you know, in some senses a face because Eric refuses to make content. So
Sure.
Right. Nick K has the next question, which is, how did Anthony find his games as orcs?
I don't think that army's for me. It's, I would say of the melee pressure armies, it's the hardest to play. It's obviously very good. I think Warhorde is still one of the best melee pressure armies in the game. I think that this is at the risk of great personal agony. I think gunless melee pressure is functionally dead in this meta. I can't imagine trying to compete in a space with like ECT Sun's Death Guard World Eaters with just nothing to shoot. Like just like actual 0 guns is like, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
you're kind of trolling. Yeah.
Like the armies that used to be able to do it no longer can. The ones that did it well do it poorly now, kind of. Like, you know, Bile was the 20-0 terror in December, right? Like I, you know, did really well at Pyro with it, like continued to do really well. A bunch of people picked it up and saw great success, and then like 3 books come out. Now that army's dead as fuck. Like couldn't even imagine trying to use that right now. But orcs, I think
like
orcs,
Blood Angels, if you like hard paraphrase, maybe the only one that, and even then,
and
it's still
even
playing
then,
a
if you
couple guns.
So the thing with Blood Angels is that it's the worst melee pressure list in a melee mirror, right?
Yeah,
like
it's literally just preying on gun lines.
right.
The camp, and it's like, yeah, dude, if you play them on a heavy table, shit is over. But not a lot of them do that. So
yeah, so like, you know, I think that's kind of the shake is that you have to be adding guns to things, and orcs have a limited capacity to do that. You know, they cover that delta by having battle wagons and trucks and stuff that like are very good transports, right? But it's fragile, man, and every orc game is on a knife edge. You know, you're a few like a bounce into like an inappropriate target or something like that away from just
every fight back murders you in orc. You don't have any durability to train on, really.
Yeah, I mean, like if it, you know, and it's in a similar vein, if their Wa turn has any amount of like hiccup in the game plan, it gets dark fast. Orcs make me sad because I wish they were the best. I always want them to be the best army in the game because they're my favorite army to play against. But I just like that doesn't translate to me piloting them for whatever reason. They're just like something about them doesn't gel. The like relative fragility plus the importance of their transports is like that's too much. And I don't know if I like lost the ability to play like that when I stopped playing Drukhari, but I just like fully do not like that anymore. Maybe it was just always different with Drukhari because you were so fast and raiders were so easy to move around in stage that it like didn't really matter. But like with a truck that's like a weird oblong shape and also doesn't get around corners good. Whoo boy, like it's fucking tough staging those things sometimes, man. So yeah, I mean, orcs remain an extremely hard, like, you know, and a hard army to execute on that is really strong. But I don't think it's like it's a thing that's gonna end up in my like wheelhouse, which makes me sad because I, in theory, should like them a lot.
Anthony, you're a chaos player. We all know it now. Stuck on chaos.
It seems to be trending that way. I just, I'm stuck in the spiky box.
The next question is from Floof, which is, how do you guys pull yourselves out of putting too much into list innovation? Basically, what's your notifier to finally say, this doesn't work, I need to move on, versus maybe I just need to keep going, it's going to click soon?
Oh, do you want Innes or me to answer this?
You do it, Anthony. You start.
The answer is that it's basically always wrong. You can change small components to pick up additional tools, but a lot of the time it's like jerking yourself off with extra steps, and you're just finding new and interesting ways to skill expression yourself over opponents that you should already be beating, and you should probably use that time, effort, and energy to find new metas to plan.
I like being flexible to bed based on extenuating on different factors, right? So flexibility has to have a purpose. If you're changing things, it needs to be because the metagame environment is different than it was when you wrote the list, or because the tournament pack is different. There's different missions, there's different maps. You have to have a reason. If you're just changing things because it wasn't because it was fine, or because you feel like you need to change things, you're getting itchy feet, you need to stop, right? You need to be looking at, why am I changing this? Which means that you need to ask the questions of, okay, so I'm going to use the really easy example of my my Nottingham versus LVO list, where I took the Desolation Marines because I knew I was playing an event that had plunging fire, and then I tested them for a couple of games without plunging fire. I was like, oh, yep, that's not working. They're not going to be good for LVO. Let's play something else. And that's like my example of innovation, but the rest of the list basically stayed the same. I think I tweaked like one unit because I had 20 points left, right? And that's innovation with cause. But if I was going to go to another event that was playing GW terrain, I would have been like, all right, maybe the Reavers become a different 80-point scoring unit in Space Marines, right? It wouldn't have been, and it's like tweaks. And Anthony's been on World Eaters for a long time. World Eaters don't have the same capacity for jiggery as Marines do, right? I could list 7 different 80-point Marine units that could all fill a slot for a metagame reason. And there's a degree of that. That's like, some armies are more suited to that than others. If you're playing like GSC Floof, stop fucking with it, man. You don't, like, the army works. What is it? Like, wait for the new Dataslate and then fuck with it, right? Like, we know the army works. It's basically, unless you're going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, my Death Guard and Thousands on the matchup is awful, in which case changing the core concepts of Host of Ascension isn't gonna, if it's not surviving contact with Death Guard, then it's because Host of Ascension doesn't work in that matchup, right? It's not because you need to change the list.
Yeah. List writing is not a RuneScape skill. You don't get better at it by doing it.
It's also an entirely separate skill from being good at 40k. You do not have to be good at writing
true.
lists to be good at playing Warhammer.
Yeah. Oftentimes it is counterproductive to spend a lot of time writing lists to get better at it.
Personally, I fucking love it, but I'm, blessed with the ability to play more games than most. Right. So
Frankie has the next question, which is stat check Hot Ones Hot Takes Challenge, ? Sure.
Nah.
Hot Ones for me is like a spicy piece of salami. I'm not
you would injure Innes with black pepper.
We would get Innes through the first sauce, I think. Like, just the first one.
I mean, you would do real damage to him. I'm not joking. Like,
okay. So never is the
Nathan, you've not spent a great amount of time around me consuming food. It is bad. I do not like the way I consume food.
I think
it
that
makes me mad.
I think you could make an argument that few people outside of your family have spent as much time around you consuming food as I specifically have.
Yeah, you've enough, right? It's not great, is it? It's real bad. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Costa Rico has the next question, which is, with all the remaining Divergent Space Marine codexes coming out this summer, should Space Marines get the Chaos treatment with Divergent chapters being locked to their own books?
I think that whatever they do, they should not let whatever the Iron Hands one is have access to the Gladiator Reaper. Just don't do it. Just don't. Just cut like exactly that day. Give them the Medusan Executioner and let it be less good than the Gladiator Reaper. Just don't let them play it.
It's sustained 1 all the time, but never sustained 2.
That's fine. Like, just don't do it. Look at me, Games Workshop. Do not.
All right, the next question's from Nick K. What kinds of builds has Anthony seen Nids do well with?
Look, go to the
No, this wasn't for you, Innes. This was for Anthony. This was for Anthony.
Copy Kayu's fucking list, guys. can, and I will.
I'm sure whatever Caillou's doing is good. That sounds real. I don't know that I've met Caillou, but I hear good things.
He was at
And-
Worlds the year that we were both there.
Yeah, but I don't think I was
Yeah.
like introduced or anything. I was busy dying from my
Yeah, me
surgery
too.
that I had the day before.
It was a good year.
Now, what a mess that was.
It was
Wow, you
awful.
look worse than normal. I'll never forget that. That was so funny. So
You're like, wait,
whatever
hold on.
whatever Sam has done recently has mostly been like, we played Vanguard Nids like from Pyra through recently until we like kicked him onto like, the Go Explore Other Factions young man arc that he's been on. Like Vanguard was still pretty good then. It's generically like decent into a lot of the gunline stuff. Probably not, I imagine, a huge fan of Plague Burst Crawlers.
I can't imagine it has a great time with the T-Sons either.
It used to be alright
How
at
do you
it. Maybe
how
now
do
it's
you catch
fine.
goats?
I don't fucking know, dude. I don't understand what you're supposed to do against T-Sons, so
Also fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was just like a pretty good generic like midline fucking invasion fleet build, and it's gonna make like your eyes like bleed from your skull, and it's gonna be really boring, but it's just gonna like do a thing, and it's gonna do that thing really well. It is important to note that like neither God nor Games Workshop has crafted an elite infantry thing that can stand in front of a Tyranid army. I don't care.
You cannot make infantry durable enough that Nids don't kill it.
Correct. There's no upper limit. Like a custodian warden with his feel no pain up and whatever fucking detachment you want is dying to a Tyranid army. And it is broadly a small holes in elite infantry meta. That type of shit, Nids usually do beat on pretty good. So
It's not a bad time to be X-Wings and Tyrannofexes.
yeah, or Maliceptors. Like, they ain't mad at it either. A bunch of armies that used to be reroll queens lost a bunch of that shit. So,
There's
pretty
some
good.
space.
Big bug time.
Gargoyles are still dicks.
Gargoyles are dicks.
Gargoyles are mean. Every time I play with Gargoyles, I'm like, damn. I understand why these are 85 points.
Yeah. Because they don't do anything but that thing you're
Frankie
doing, but
has-
the thing that you're doing is really
God,
fucked
they
up.
sure did just score a point, move block, and deny 8 primary.
Yeah.
They do that a lot. Fire and fading out of reserve.
Frankie
Moving
has a-
after reserve, coming from reserve was a mistake. Just this
Yep.
whole edition. Every time I think about it, I'm like, I'm mad about it.
How it's not been FAQ'd out is beyond me. Like, maybe it's one of those things where they're like, we've gotten this far, but like, God, please, not in 11th.
When the first time someone hits the move at the end of your shooting phase 1 or move at the end of your movement phase 1 on a unit that just dropped in from reserve and then like hits a charge tree, I'm just gonna be upset. And I know I will be. And I'm trying to like work on myself so that I'm not like mad at the person, I'm mad at the game when that happens to me.
Yeah.
But
The first time I hit that card, it was on a prince that had already rolled a 6 to advance.
oh no. And you're just
Dude,
like
he went pretty far.
I'm just imagining like a Death Ride squad dropping in 6 away, rolling the 5, being an inch away from me and charging the thing behind my screen.
Yeah, but then your opponent's doing you a favor of playing Death Shrouds, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, whatever, man. Like, they're pretty annoying. We don't all play armies that explode them in combat. Some of us play squishy little dudes.
Do you have issues with Death Shrouds killing toughness 7 men that are costly in Gene Stealer Cult?
The Outlander Claw list I played did not have fun into them.
And if you were playing hosts?
Oh, it would have been fine. Yeah. Like, look, we got... It would have been horrible for different
Nuances
reasons. that match up,
unimportant.
but- Exactly.
Just
Nuances
making
made
sure.
up.
Right. Frankie has a question I don't think you guys will be able to answer, which is for all the recent WTC testing, have there been any armies that have genuinely surprised you in testing?
Surprised. Yeah, I mean, like, Thousand Suns, right? Like, I was surprised how upset I was, genuinely. I was, like, tried to go into it with a pretty open mind, tried to be like, maybe it'll be fine this time. It's a lot easier to follow, at least, That's pretty cool. Just still mad.
You're gonna have to try to do napkin math on the side, counting
Yeah!
cabal points.
Dude, I'm not yelling at them about addition, which is a bad space for me to be in. If I'm correcting your counting, that's not good. Like,
All right. Eric has the next question, which is, what do you think the best Khorne Demonkin list looks like?
it probably has Scarbrand in it, and it has a whole lot of blood letters so that you can use that strat over and over and over and over again. And
Probably
then it
triple
doesn't
forge
have
fiends
Forged
in
and
it.
Forge Fiends and 8-pound.
yeah, it doesn't have any blood crushers in it because that unit fucking sucks. You could spend those points on almost anything else and it would be an upgrade. Like, you could take 240 points of Jackals and it would be better than those fucking losers.
Damn.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That unit's garbage.
Dude, that unit's so bad.
I feel like you just start with better Angron, triple forge fiends, and then some number of blood letters, and you're good.
You know, like, all right, you've accidentally hit a point that always makes me laugh. And it's going to sound snarky, and I apologize in advance. But people get really, really fucking excited about Scarbrand having advance in charge, and then they like roll a 3, and they're like, "Fucking let's go, baby, better
11,
Angron." And they like
12.
they move him less far than Angron goes without fly, and they're like, "Dude, he's so fucking fast." And I'm just sat there like, I guess.
He's like 2 inches of movement slower than Angron, right? Is that what it
Four.
is? He's 4 inches.
You have to roll a 4 to equal the guy that flies.
Look, if Korn hadn't ripped off his wings, Scarbrand would be too powerful. That's just all.
That is true. If Scarbrand could fly and was movement 14, yeah, I would be very mad.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh because it happens every time I watch someone play Scarbrand. They're like, "Oh, dude, he's so fucking good," and then I'm like, "Uh-huh," and they're like, "Get advance, boom, faster than Angron." I'm like, "Is he? Are you sure? Did you check?"
Look, the next question is also from Eric, and it says, "Let us say you're isekai'd into the world of 40k as an imperial planetary governor. What kind of planet are you ruling?" The only answer is Paradise World. That is the only answer. If I want to live in the 41st millennium and I want to be a planetary governor, give me the easiest planet to govern.
I would like Cadia, because if I have to do it, it won't be for long.
Ah, there you go. Like,
You want one of the shards of Cadia?
or you pick a space marine planet, then you're always probably safe and also don't
No,
have to do a
the
lot.
space marine planets are all like nexuses of evil coming.
Yeah,
to them.
terrible things happen to all the Space Marine planets all the time. Nigh constantly do bad stuff happen to the Space Marine planets.
Can you
I
pick
don't know what
Terra
you're
to just
talking
be
about.
rich and probably like not allowed to die because Games Workshop will keep the get that setting going? Is that
No,
an
they're
answer?
going to keep rotating you out for new characters is the problem. They're going to be like, that planetary governor, he's got to get
What about,
killed,
like-
so we need to rotate in a new one.
What about like Venus or something, right? Like like Venus isn't gonna be fine, right?
It would be
Mars.
Mars. I would be the fabricator
yeah.
general. Let's go with that. Strap my
And
consciousness
Anthony, who
into a
notably
Titan.
was complaining about doing math 10 minutes ago.
Dude, they don't do that much math. The computers
he
do the
could
math.
be-
Are you new?
He could be a janitor and just stare at DNA sequences all day. It's fine.
Dude, they just staple the part that does math into your brain. You replace
All
the
right,
fleshy weakness.
Okay. We are not
I'm mad at
far
this
through the
question.
questions, and it is very funny.
Oh no.
Willow says,
I thought
time
we
to
were almost
lock
done.
in your CK predictions based off the article today. Are they finally going to return us to the promised land
Bro,
of 2 and 7?
Bro, Sticky OC5 made me upset.
That's amazing.
Not because of
That
the stratagem,
crazy.
but the timing on it. Bug wild. Why is it any phase? You're just like, oh, I got charged by this OC4 thing. That's sticky now. All right, you can kill me. It's fine.
I think that's
It's-
cool. I think that's it.
I just don't like it. Just say your command phase like everyone else, you douchebags.
I
I
think
love that it's OC5 specifically because that means you need 5 dudes and a character to do it a lot of the time to take the objective.
I think that's funny.
Someone's
I
gonna
think that's
charge in with
hilarious.
a 6 OC squad, kill the guy, consolidate onto the objective. The knight's gonna explode, kill one of them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck.
Dude, that's funny. If things are gonna be stupid, the least they could do is also be funny.
That's true,
As
that's
for
why we
returning
love
to
you.
the 2 big 7 littles ratio, I don't know. We don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
we'll
Nobody
see.
knows.
We'll see on the rest.
Pius
That
has
strat
a
looks cool.
question-
I like the idea of
It
sustained hits
does.
against. I like oath sustained hits against one thing you can see. I'm really, really happy it has the thing you can see rider, but it does mean that I think their havoc launchers are probably keeping indirect, which I'm a little mad at.
I think they should add that to oaths.
Something you
Like
For
can
all
see
the
with, like your warlord or
Desolation
something
Marines
like
people are
that.
still playing. You're just trying to
Or-
nerf me now.
Or melee.
I like it.
What? What's the
I like it.
problem?
I think that change is fine. Pius asks, how do you handle the obligation to inform your clients with the need to give up inside information before WTC? With the need
Well,
not to give up inside information before WTC.
You see, WTC pays me fucking nothing. And the person I'm talking to, who I had a conversation about being cool about it, pays me quite a bit more than fucking nothing. So they get to know stuff, baby. And if I get a random Frenchman that wants to be my coaching client in the middle of July, I'll probably ask a couple questions, but not too many.
Like, yeah. Also, like, I play for Scotland, bro. Ain't nobody coming for my secrets. People might be really interested in what I think the best GSC build is, but like, 2 teams are gonna care. So
Yeah.
And I'll probably tell most people that ask me. I mean, it ain't that much of a fuss. As long as you're not on my pod. You just talk to people, man. It ain't that it's WTC's a hobby. This is a job. It's different.
Yeah.
Jeff, the Death Company Forklift, still my favorite name.
Best
on
name
our
in the
Discord server.
Good job,
100%.
Jeff.
When the Eldari Codex first came out, people expected Warhost to be one of the better detachments, but the win rates don't seem to match with that prediction. Is this due to it scooping up all the I don't really know what I'm doing elf players aspects here in Windrider tended to attract people with actual plans, or is it something else entirely? What does Pickles think?
This is I can tell she's not here. Oh, is she? She's right there.
Oh, there she is.
So Warhost was never gonna be the best because Yunari existed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Warhost being the best was largely generated out of people who want to do that thing I was talking about with T-Suns earlier, where they're like, I thought so hard and now you auto lose. Because Warhost is the closest you can get to that in Eldar.
It's the most uninteractable version, except for Yunari. Yunari is better at being uninteractable Eldar.
Yunari's not uninteractable. Yunari interacts too much. That's the difference. Like Warhost is like, I hit you and then I'm gone, and I hit you and then I'm gone, right? Yunari's like, you hit me and that was a mistake. Like, it's way different.
Yeah, Yunari's just overtuned. I still think Warhouse is a pretty interesting detachment that has some really cool tools. It's just not better than Yunari.
Yeah,
and it's probably not better than Aspect Host. It's probably not better than Seer Council.
It depends on how things develop in general, right?
It also
There
depends on like what points changes look like, and
right.
I don't want to play Web Serpents into PBCs, bro. I just don't want to do it. You just go die.
I mean, it takes. I mean, if you think about that for like a second, it takes a while for a set of Plague Burst crawlers to get through.
But Alice was talking to me like it was happening in like a phase, so I'm not.
That's insane.
Yeah, Alice was like, "Yeah, I just put rhinos behind walls, and then the next 2 kill the thing." I'm like, "What are you doing to these people? I don't want to think about it that too hard."
Disrespectful. That's unkind shit, Alice. Jesus.
Isaac has the next question. Has the next 2 questions. The first one is advice to try to find more high quality TTS games.
Message the people that you know that are high quality games and also available, and ask them for games instead of asking publicly. Is probably the best bet for getting like really high quality games. Like use your contacts and your network, or do better in TTS events. Those are the kind of your 2 options.
Or do the long way around grind and play a bunch of in-person singles event to get your elo up to apply for your national team. Yay!
That too. And then the second question is, what should we do to people who submit lists without war gear and detachments, like the new recruit short format?
We should just kill them.
I don't think it matters at all. They probably have the shit that doesn't suck. Move on with your life. You're like people that complain about WYSIWYG. Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna complain about Tau player. If a Tau player doesn't have guns on their fucking fire knives, I'm allowed to complain.
Also fine. Does not matter.
It definitely does matter if they have missile pods or plasma rifles.
Are they going to tell you before the game?
I'd like to know when I show up to the table when I'm building my plan beforehand.
Just ask.
Or what if they changed it between rounds? You don't get to know.
You ask. Who cares? Whatever. It's fine. Play the game in front of you. It doesn't matter.
Bread has the next question.
Yeah.
I find that I sometimes bait myself into overcommitting for kills in Coterie. What's a good way to not do this to yourself, but still achieve kills? You have that stratagem that lets you just boost it, right? Just go, small, bro, and then go up.
Start slow, go hard on 2 or 3. That's usually the Coterie play pattern. It's like
1-1-4 is your is a nice little sequence, or 1-2-4. It's
yeah,
pretty
1
good.
2 1. I've definitely done 1 2 and then finish is usually how it goes. I've done 1-6 a couple times.
You want to untap on 4 with your full buffs.
Yeah.
All right. Paul asks, I just turned 33 right now. As a present, just tell me how cooked we are for this slate tomorrow.
We don't know
We
the slates
can't
tomorrow,
do
Paul.
that, bud.
Couldn't
So
tell
we
ya.
can't
No.
tell you anything. I'm sorry,
I
buddy.
don't know if it's tomorrow. I don't know
Happy
how cooked it's going to
birthday.
be.
No, I don't think Chef
Happy
Daddy gets
birthday,
that.
though. Congratulations. All
Happy
right.
birthday, yeah.
Happy
Nick
birthday,
K.
Paul.
Happy birthday, Paul. Nick K asks, do you think those orc stats from today are reflective of something in the faction or just the perennial orc player base issue?
I mean,
I don't think we know. It was just 1 week of data, guys.
It was just a
I think
little.
there's probably a small thing here where a bunch of people that were orc players jumped to Mordaka. Even like a bunch of people that weren't orc players jumped to Mordaka, but a bunch of orc players too jumped to Mordaka, played with massive power for a couple of weeks, and then got told, "No, you can't have that," and then went, oh, "Okay," and then went to things that weren't orcs because they had like gotten their fill of orcs.
Yep.
I didn't want to play a weaker version of the army they were just playing, which pushes people away from the army.
Yep.
All right. Next question is from Bobby, which is last edition we got World Leaders in Votan. This edition we got EC. In theory, we should be due for one whole new army. What do you think it could be? What would you want it to be? They said, yeah, I know Imperial Agents are new, but let's be real, they don't count, right?
Imperial Agents aren't new. They were a full-fledged army in 7th edition. Not kidding.
Were they called Imperial Agents, or was that when they were Hereticus or something?
It was
like
called
that?
Agents of the Imperium. It was a full separate. Like, It was like you could play an army of them though.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Maybe they should Harlequins in their own book again.
That would be great. I would love that. I'd be so happy. Dark Mechanicus feels
Dark
like it
Mech
should be a
would be-
vibe of something that happens. Like they've started to release.
They
like,
get all of
models
Emperor's Children
from
smaller
what
fiends,
Should be that
and
line. Yeah,
they get Emperor's
all of
Children's
the
force
demon
fiends.
engines go.
Dude,
Yeah.
I am at any given time so close to accidentally becoming an ad mech player or like a dark mech player. I like Rust Stalkers are like one of my favorite models in the game. Like that whole like side of Skitarii, if they ever make like a grotesque equivalent for ad mech, I'm fucked. Like so
They made
hopefully
bulk stalkers,
what'd you say?
bulk stalkers,
Yeah, dude, just some like
Big
a
Rust
big
Stalkers.
yeah, just like a
Like-
fucking
like macro scalpels.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'd be so fucked. It'd be bad. So hopefully that never happens, and I don't need a new army. Yay!
Isaac has the next question, which is: do you think that CSM will get some updated data sheets before the end of the edition? Maybe.
Hopefully
God, I hope
not.
so.
Just leave them alone.
That would be cool.
CSM have been like a top
You've
fucking.
been begging for better possessed for years.
It's fine. Just let them be bad. CSM have been like a top like 7-5 army the entire fucking time. Just leave them. Just let it be. They keep getting updated data sheets from cult books and shit. Just leave them alone.
All right. Jonath has the next question, which is: need to write my next event pack using the new missions this week. Any suggestions on fun new missions? UKTC terrain.
Terraform and Kitten Supplies are both pretty fine now. I actually quite like New Terraform.
I like new Terraform as well.
Don't play the ritual. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. No one needs 7 objectives on turn 2.
I kind of like Burden of Trust in the new pack. I think
No.
it's
I
fine.
don't think I agree, but
Yeah.
sure.
It's fine.
I don't know, like new terraforms, all right. Hidden supplies is sweet. That's a cool mission.
I really like that it like
I do like it.
scores your home, but only if you're already scoring other stuff.
Yeah,
It's like go and
that's
fight.
good.
I like it a lot in Crucible and Search. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't love it in Hammer. It felt weird.
I mean, Hammer's just not a good deployment. We should play just 7 rounds of Crucible and Search now that there's enough primaries to do that at WTC. Like, the tipping point maps are a nightmare. Hammer is a shit show. Just play Crucible and Search all 7 rounds and use different primaries for all of them.
I still like
Next
it better than
question. Next question is from Sean, which is: how many armies do you need to have to feel relatively confident that something will be good/fun in any given meta?
3.
3 as long as one of them Space Marines. 4 if you want one of them to not be Marines.
CSM is my 3, but like it's like CSM eaters and That's pretty much it,
think
really. But
DC,
like,
right?
easy.
most of the time you're safe
Nailed
if
it.
you own Eldar. I think you're safe most editions.
If you've
own
got
an Eldar
got
army.
one of Eldar Marines and CSM and 2 other armies, you're basically always going to be fine.
You're gonna be fine. Yeah.
All right. Bearded Horus has the next question. I'm struggling to blow out games. I can eke out wins, but I've found it hurts my overall placings in tournaments by winning with 80s, etc., compared to other players scoring consistent 100s. What steps or flaws in gameplay would you recommend / look for to improve this?
So you remember earlier when Ennis was talking about how on like 5, he's like, "Oh no, dude, you probably got like a whatever." Look for lines to just choke that out early. You need games to end on 3 and 4 if you want to get hundreds.
Yeah, dude, you got to be like, hey, you're like, you made any form of mistake. This is how I punish it, and just like trust yourself to do that. Don't be like, it's a little risky. No, like if they made a mistake, punish them. Right? That's your operandus. You got to be looking for early opportunities, eager and often.
Every single scoring piece that they have, every single you're trying to drive their unit count down. Not like don't partial hit stuff to the point that it's like not going to be super effective anymore.
You want kill
or
thing, tag next thing, remove 2 units with your 1, and then
Yeah.
keep doing that repeatedly until your opponent stops moving models.
Correct.
And ideally, you're giving them like you want to win like a 20-0. You're probably looking at like 5-on-2 and 3-0-on-4 is kind of your like threshold to make sure that because like people will score 30 secondaries wiggling under you sometimes, and you're just like, oh, fucking stop it. But like you can keep the rest of it down, you're gonna be okay. If you're trying to score 100 points, you got to be on the board. Like you have to, like every card you draw has to be live on turn 2. If you can't do that, you're not gonna score. You just can't score 100 points without getting lucky. You shouldn't be aiming for 100 points. You should be aiming for like 95, and like 100 points is a thing that happens sometimes, but not a thing you should be like specifically aiming for. Like don't, if you want to, like, if you have to score 100 points, like the old UKTC formats, you're like redrawing on turn 1 to make sure you hit cards and stuff, and like actively sabotaging your game plan a little bit to do dumb shit. Don't do that. Like, it's not worth it. Just win the game. Like win the game, then score 100 points is definitely part of it. But yeah, you kind of have to just choke your opponent slowly to death rather than mitigating them. You're like putting your hand on their forehead while they swing wildly under you as you kick their shins. You're just like, they're not interacting with you at all. Like, you gotta give them, you are on turn 1 deploying, being like, I am going to take that primary off you. There's nothing you can do to stop it. And then you go and take that primary off them, and then you shut down their attempts to pressure you. And you have to be doing that like on turn 1 and turn 2. There is no, I'll wait and see what they do. You have a plan. You are enacting it. That is how you get 100 points, how you get 20 nils.
Yep. All right. Isaac has a suggested Discord banner, but I think that's just an emoji suggestion. And I don't really feel like sharing my screen right now, so I'm going to go to the next one.
Yep.
Gran asks, 20-0s are hard to predict, but how can you force those in the game? What are some indicators?
Rewind 30 seconds. Go listen to that again.
Yeah,
just
yeah, pretty much.
And then Thomas Verkoijen has, would you recommend other WTC teams take on the Swedish team practice of whipping players that fail to attend pairings without giving proper notice?
As someone who is always at pairings and has nothing to lose from advocating for this, I still think that might be too harsh.
I don't know. I still always remember Rude's way of making players practice by substituting their dice rolls and situations out with new things randomly, and just telling people things failed or succided was my favorite practice mechanic.
Walks over, that's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Stresses me out.
I kind of love it. And that is the last question. We've gotten through them.
We made it 2 hours. All right, guys. Nathan's going to do the Andy bit, so we're going to let him do that, and then I'll do the outro.
I'm going to do the Andy bit. All right. I forgot to open the spreadsheet because I was reading questions, but I'm going to start the Cult of the High Five call-outs. If you join the $15 a month tier, you get your custom call-out done at the end of the episode. God damn it. So I'm going to do these now. Christopher, meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Oh, dude,
meow,
we have got to implement
meow.
a character
Yes,
limit.
I am counting these meows, Nathan. There are 14 of them, Irvine. Thank you, Willow Weeks. Thank you, Dan F. Thank you, Luke, Dan F. McCarthy. Thank you, David. GW be cranking out codices this year like it's the end of the edition or something. Clark. Thank you, IEAIAIO. I hear. God damn it, I hear. Thank you, James H. Thank you, Colton Dan F. Miller. Thank you, Fungus. Thank you, John Vietgang. Select stats table, Control A, right click, greater than clear all. Thank you, Cam F. Dan Morton, hog emoji, hog emoji. Thank you, Archon, member number 2 of the Harlequin Union Rahal. Thank you, Josiah Gettle. Thank you, Tank Commander Frankie. Thank you, Isaac, better GSC player than Floof. Please buff Neophytes, Tarada. Thank you to Please Don't Doombolt Me. Thank you to Thomas. Chris
Also
Irvine
true.
lied. That was 13 meows for Goisian. Now it's 14, though. Thank you to Steven. I don't care about Warhammer until the new mission pack Ross. Thank you, Tom. Chicago style is not pizza H. That's just randomly rude. I don't get it.
It's also true. It's soup.
Thank you to Please note that the Chaos Knights preview showed a War Dog getting a super heavy walker enhancement. My agenda continues unabated. All in caps for that last part. Thank you. So is no CKA Codex leak a sign of GW tightening up or a sign no one caring about their book? Thank you to Oh God, Floof just wrote the entire B movie script by hand. I can't do this. I can't read all this. I refuse and I am going home. How dare you, Floof? I hope Neophytes go up 10 more points. Actually, I hope they go up 15 more points per model.
Wow.
Thank you to Gucci.
I mean, it'll get me off the army, so I mean, like, it's not a bad thing for me either.
And that is all the call outs. If you want to join the long list of nonsense, you can join our Chris Pie 5 tier and get other benefits as well. Do you want to talk us out, Innes?
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us for another 2-hour bumper episode. We will be back next week with all of the usual bullshittery and other assorted nonsenses. We'll have a full new mission pack. I'll probably be like another 12 games deep in it because life is misery this time of year. If you're at a tournament this weekend, please do have the very best of luck. If you're at either, I've got like 2 events in Scotland in the next 2 weeks. So if you're at an event in Scotland, come say hi. I doubt it, but maybe you will be. Otherwise, very best of luck. Kick some ass, and we shall catch you all next time. Nathan, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. You can go.
Bye-bye.